They're made, something UMass Boston coach Peter Belisle knows all too well. His Beacons, coming off their first ever trip to the NCAA Frozen Four, begin their home defense of their NEHC crown. They'll host a familiar non-conference enemy today as the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs aim to spoil the celebration right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I am John Skudris. And Matt, what a season it was a year ago for Coach Belisle's club. A 6-0 start buoyed them to the top of the conference standings, but it was their incredible overtime win over Babson where Colin Larkin scored 12:51 into the extra period that sent the Beacons to the NCAA tournament. From there, they won a couple of games, and they went to the Frozen Four and lost in what is a heart-wrenching game, an 8-7 double overtime defeat.
Yep.
But one of the best we've ever seen at this level. Talk a little bit about remembering that team last year.
You know what, it was special on so many levels, John, and having played with the majority of guys on that team, it was special to see the run that they went on. They were led by a senior group that is really unparalleled. And you look at not just recent history, but overall history of the program, and this team, place your bets, will be in the Hall of Fame. What they were able to accomplish, some of the guys you're going to see that graduated, we'll mention a little bit later, have now moved on, but really made their stamp in the program and have now set the bar for UMass to be. They're no longer just another D3 school. They are a top-flight Division III program, and it's a credit to the system that Coach Belisle has built. But the seniors, some of whom you'll see today in the ceremony, really just tremendous the run that they were able to build on and were able to produce. And yes, didn't get all the way to the championship as they would have liked. But as you mentioned, that 8-7 game, I was there in Lake Placid. It was really just an all-around outstanding effort by both teams. But that being said, that was last year. And I'm Coach Albee, or Captain Albee rather, has made that extremely clear to this team that whatever was accomplished last year is now in the history books. And they're starting over again. They got out, they beat Curry 5-1, but the leadership coming from Albee has been, we accomplished something last year, now we've got to repeat and do even better. And that's the precedent that's been set.
Absolutely. You mentioned Albee Daly, one of the veterans coming back. There are a lot of young players on this roster and some players we haven't seen before. Yep. Tyler Sifferlin is a player who originally committed to UMass Lowell of course, the Hockey East, something that we are very proud to have him down here playing for the Beacons. A lot of D1 transfers do take the roster, and a lot of them had a huge role in getting the Beacons to the tournament last year. Talk a little bit about the new guys and what we should expect.
Yeah, you look up and down this roster, and obviously you see some familiar names, but we've got a freshman in Cody Wickline playing first line, top line today, with on the wing, Larkin at center, Albee Daly on the wing. Then second line you got Gannon, but sided by two freshmen, Cousin and Sifferlin on the wing. And then I'll skip the third line, we'll come back to that, but the last line, Murphy, Nachbar, and Keene, all freshmen. And that's that yellow line, that fourth line that I always pay particular attention to, all freshmen. And that's just the forwards. We don't even have time to get to the D. So tons of new faces on this roster, and quite honestly, nerve-wracking for some, quite interesting from my standpoint. It's always interesting to see how these new guys adapt to the lineup. Some of them getting their first chance tonight. We've got 3 players in the lineup tonight getting their first crack of college action. It's interesting. It's gonna be a fun thing to watch, and we'll get you to the ceremony as we talked about from last year's team.
Yeah, they're going to be honoring the team a year ago. Before we do that, let's take a quick look at the all-time series for these two opponents as the Corsairs come on in to UMass Boston. Obviously a rivalry that has been lasting, but the Beacons have dominated over the last decade, winning 9 in a row. The last Corsairs win came back in January of 2007 when I was all of 19 years old, Matt. Beacons winning 7-1 last year. Matt Lemire had a couple of goals in that one. He's no longer here. It's going to be up to the new guys to take the reins.
It is indeed. This is a rivalry that usually it's a home and home. So last year was at Dartmouth. This year it's going to be at UMass Boston. But let me mention some of the guys who have moved on. We've got Matt Lemire, graduated. Frankie DiAugustine, Derek Colucci. We've got Mike Miller. We've got Alex Demchuk. So a bunch of guys that were in the lineup consistently throughout their career have now graduated and need to be backfilled with some of these freshmen who you're going to see tonight.
We look at the team stats for both the Corsairs and the Beacons. Beacons, of course, the number 3 ranked team in the land. The Corsairs 1-0 coming off a victory earlier on this campaign against Worcester State in overtime, 5-4. Both teams very even goals for. Of course, it's only one game. Both teams scored a goal. You look there, though, power play. In each of their first two games, both of these teams lit up the lamp on the power play, and that was critical to their victories, as it always is at this level. We look at the individual leaders here on the pregame show. UMass Boston, very team-oriented victory in that win over Curry College. 5 players each with 1 goal. We'll see a lot of Bishop, we'll see a lot of Lindsay, and of course UMass Dartmouth brings a balanced attack as well, led by the leading goal scorer, Mike Sonis out of Watertown, Ontario. The goalie matchup for today's game is going to be an interesting one. Jordan Bustard starts for UMass Boston, the freshman and native of Flanders, New Jersey, making just his second game and second start of the season, 1-0 with a .962 save percentage. He faces off against Drew Michaels, who is 1-0 with a 3.70 goals against average. The junior, Michaels, out of Newton, Massachusetts, a local boy. What do we have in store between the pipes?
Well, we'll start with the Corsairs, and obviously Michaels with some impressive numbers. He comes in with a 3.56 goals against, a little bit high, but the save percentage is right where it needs to be at close to a 91%, and we see his career numbers. Definitely a veteran goaltender. Nothing new between the pipes for him. He's been here before. On the other side, the freshman. And I was talking to some of these guys in the pregame just about getting him comfortable. This Bustard kid has a lot of talent. He's a big goalie, he moves well, but they need to get him comfortable playing at the collegiate level. He only has one career game under his belt. So there's a learning curve there, as not just in hockey, but in any sport. So part of that, especially with the D, is getting him shots from the outside where he can feel it, get into a rhythm, and get him comfortable with the speed at which it's played at this level.
We have an outstanding matchup ahead of us between the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs and the UMass Boston Beacons. We will wrap up the pregame show and get you ready for the opening face-off right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. That's up next. Welcome back into the broadcasting booth along with Matt Meisenbacher. I am John Skudris. They're introducing your UMass Boston Beacons prior to the opening face-off. Let's take a look at the player to watch here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. And Matt, who better than Tyler Bishop, who was a monster for the Beacons last season. Second-team All-American as a junior, led the NEHC in points with 24, and you look at those career numbers, 61 points in 82 games. We'll talk more about him in a bit. It's National Anthem time. We're going to kick it to one more commercial break. When we come back, we'll have the opening face-off right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Go Beacons! Let's go Beacons! Let's go Beacons!
Come on, Jake.
Plays, and as usual, she wins it. A chance in front. Her shot is in the net. Crystal Layden. Yet another goal.
Please make a gift to the Beacon Athletic Fund today. We want you on our team.
They are ready for some hockey here from Edward T. Barry Rink, the newly renamed Edward T. Barry Rink inside Clark Athletic Center Ice Arena. Let's take a look now at your UMass Boston Beacons starting lineup.
Cody Wickline, freshman forward, Watermount, Texas.
Kyle Larkin, junior forward, Waterford, Michigan.
Albie Daly, senior forward, Haverhill Park, New York.
Brett Mason, senior defenseman, Raleigh, Massachusetts.
Tyler Bishop, senior defenseman, Ramsey, New Jersey.
Jordan Bustard, freshman goalie, Flanders, New Jersey.
So you saw the UMass Boston Beacons starters. Let's take a look at the starters for the Corsairs here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Mike Kelly and Mike Sonis wrapping around Casey Shea, your starting center. Mason Nichols and Jerry Lasko, the Finnish native, are your blue liners, and they will man out in front of Drew Michael, number 30 in white, or rather in blue, the junior from Newton, Massachusetts, making his 31st appearance since the beginning of last year. So we are all set, Matt. I'm very excited to see what the Beacons can come out and show as an encore. How about you?
Yeah, as Triple H takes us to puck drop, it's time to play the game. You know, the thing we didn't get a chance to talk about Tyler Bishop, the player to watch tonight. John, the thing I love about his game, it's so multifaceted. He does so many things, but his vision with the puck, he can see things that other players don't see, whether it's passing, shooting. He has an uncanny knack of getting the puck through. It's very rarely do you see a Tyler Bishop shot blocked from the point, but his vision with the puck is really unparalleled. Watch for that tonight. He can create a lot of plays with that.
Casey Shea, the junior from Woburn, against Colin Larkin, the junior from Waterford, Michigan, whose brother, Drew, of course, is a star for the Detroit Red Wings of the NHL. The faceoff is won by the Corsairs. Backhander trying to get it into the Beacon zone. Poked free by Brett Mason and dumped all the way in by Larkin to be chased by his partners in crime, Daly and Wicklands. Round the net, Wilkline as he finds Daly, trying to backhand this one in front. Albie unable to find help. However, this one kept in the zone by UMass Boston as Daly pinches in on an aggressive forecheck. Larkin makes some contact with the skate. Meanwhile, D-to-D feed is able to get Lasko, the Finnish native, all the way down come the Corsairs. Bishop behind his net takes a big hit, actually avoids it. Nice nifty move from Tyler, as barreling in on him was Mike Kelly. Backhanded into the Beacon zone where Bishop will chase. He's out there with Brett Mason, a couple of seniors, so good leadership on the blue line for Peter Belisle's club.
Going to need them to be big this year. Bishop and Mason are going to lead this defensive core. Plays like that aren't going to cut it.
Almost lost it in their own zone. Instead, here comes Drew Gannon, the Plano, Texas native, as he's out there lined with Ryan Kuzin, a freshman from Detroit, and Tyler Sifferlin, a freshman from North Andover. Pinching all the way in is John Regnard, a sophomore from Anchorage, Alaska, long way from home, as he sees a Beacon tied up. That was Sifferlin. Back to the point. Quick blast deflected wide of Michael's crease. And it's corralled. Right up one-timer for Drew Gannon. And we know he's got a blast from some goals last year, but Drew Michaels makes the save.
Yeah, nice little find there. And you got Sifferlin coming out of the corner with his head up, which is nice to see. Finds Gannon in the slot for a nice shot there, saved by Michaels, but good attempt regardless.
So the face-off to be taken by McGregor out there with Caruso and Lindsay. However, it is won by the visitors, Brendan McDonough and the Corsairs. Here is McDonough with control at the red line, gets his pocket picked on an alert play made by Lindsay, and dumped all the way in to be chased after by McGregor. Lindsay gets control. Zach looking for some help. He had Caruso, the freshman from Port Washington, New York. Instead, it careens off the skate of the defender, Chukrin, and Gabe eventually gets it back from his partner in crime, Regnard. Lindsay backhands it around the crease and around the net, and it evades the stick of the defender. That was actually Caruso playing at the blue line. And eventually, here's Lindsay, tried to kick it forward to his own stick, could not. Intercepted by the Corsairs, McDonough. And that is going to be played with a high stick. So we will have our second whistle, I should say, 17:43 here in the first period of play. So far, very aggressive pace for both.
And that's where the Beacons want to be. They had a ton of success last year with the speed at which they played. Quite honestly, it might sound a bit much, but it is a Division I level type of speed that they play with. They're going to need that again this year. It was a loose puck.
Yeah, that one snuck its way through. It got to the side of the net, almost able to squeeze it by Bustard, was the assistant captain. That is Casey Shea from the point, blocked down in front, and then a collision, and here's 2-on-2 the other way. With possession, UMass Boston, dropping it back, clicking a quick wrist shot, and being denied was Dakota Keene, the freshman from Portland, Maine.
The freshman Nakbar with a block shot, and then takes a hit to make a play. Blocks the shot from the blue, was able to corral it, and he knew he was going to get hit. He moved that puck forward, ended up transitioning down the other end for another shot on goal, but a nice job. Nakbar with his first shift at the collegiate level and a block shot already.
So Kareen's off the sideboards, off the face-off win from Dartmouth. Here's Larkin. He's got speed to boot. Gets around the defense, able to bring it all the way around, looking for the wraparound, but could not get good wood on it. Here coming the other way now are the Corsairs. Led out there and then turning it over was Jerry Lasco before eventually Albie Daly sees it trickle to the far side of the ice. Less than 5 minutes into this one, already some good action as motoring in and seeing a shot blocked right on front and taking a rip at that one was Matt Baldino from the assist of Brandon Berkeley. Baldino, Berkeley, and Connor Court. They are your forwards for the Corsairs as Court whips on a centering pass. Careening back towards the Beacon zone. Taken by Tyler Bishop. And Bishop will just crank it in on net, gobbled up, losing possession of it was Michaels. And eventually he is able to gobble it up before the Beacon comes in.
Passing not the best. Not the best right now. Seeing the Beacons have a few opportunities to make some plays, and puck seems to be bouncing a little bit. Might be a little bit warm down there on the ice, but definitely need to tighten up the passing a little bit. Early in the game yet, still plenty of time, but a lot of these passes need to be hard and on the tape.
So Gannon will take the face-off for the Beacons out there with Kuzin and Sifferlin. And Gannon wins it. Back to Kuzin to the point. Quick wrister up high. Waffle boarded away. Puck is behind the net. The shot coming from Gabe Chukrin. And eventually it's taken and moved out of harm's way. Instead, bad turnover. Intercepted by Regnart. And a good shot from a tough angle there by the Anchorage native. Taken in by Michael.
Smart play there. You know, and the forwards, it starts with the forwards. Good pressure after the initial shot off the draw. That puck was coming out, and you mentioned it. The Alaskan man, Regnard, intercepts the pass with another shot on goal. Good shift here by the Beacons thus far.
You ever been to Alaska, Matt?
Never been. No, I'm a huge Deadliest Catch fan, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's about as close as I've gotten to the state of Alaska.
I used to race the Iditarod up there back in the old day.
I find that very hard to believe.
You see right through me, Matt. We've been together too long. That was not true. That's the only falsehood I will tell on this broadcast.
You're done for the day.
I am the Walker Cronkite of UMass Boston. That is the only falsehood I will tell.
And looks like we've got as we're jabbing a little bit here, I think we got a Corsair penalty. So
listen, we got to keep it fresh. We do,
indeed. But a penalty here. Beacons are going to be on the power play.
Albie Daly will take the face-off. UMass Boston on the power play for the first time today. It won't be the last, I guarantee it. If you tuned into our women's hockey broadcast, boy, oh boy, there were a lot of them. I believe it was 17 penalties combined.
Yeah, and we'll get into the rule changes maybe at one of the intermissions. There's been some rule changes this year, folks, that have really made the game. We're going to see a lot of special teams today. Let's put it that way.
So here is Albie Daly. The Beacons on the power play for the first time today. They're at a 50% clip this season. Tyler Bishop knows what to do with it. Instead, he comes near side for Larkin. Scores! A howitzer cannon from Colin Larkin. And UMass Boston centerman has his first goal of the season, his 21st of his career. And it's 1-0 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Oh, boy. What a shot there. Larkin tickling the twine. Top shelf. Might have been a partial screen on Michaels there. I don't think he saw all of it. But I'll tell you, Larkin with a hell of a release there from the wall and picks the corner, short side high. Right under the bar there. Power play goal, Beacons, 1-0 lead.
We'll have a replay on that for you a little bit. UMass Boston up 1-0 on the Corsairs as coming on in with speed is Garrett Gallagher. He tumbles into the corner and then a big hit laid on by the Beacons' Tyler Sifferlin as this one comes all the way down. As Bustard, he got tied up. He thought it might have been icing. Then it was waved off and then tripping on UMass Boston. Quick blast from a bad angle is gobbled up. The initial shot being taken out there by Mike Sonis. But the Beacons now, just like that, will be shorthanded.
Yeah, Gannon's going to go. He drew a penalty there, took a penalty rather, and a little bit of a miscue, obviously, in front of the net. And we'll see how the Beacons PK, see them for the first time today, is they take the ice here.
As you said, the Beacons on the penalty kill. The Corsairs 37% in their debut. And a 5-4 victory against Worcester State.
We should see Bustard getting some shots here. He's been tested somewhat early on, but always a big proponent of goaltenders getting into a groove, and he should be tested here with at least a couple shots.
Lasko, far side, he connects with Kelly, and Lasko comes near side, one-time blast from Mike Sonis is off the mark. Kelly keeps it in the zone, backhanded into the corner boards. Nice toe drag by number 9, Matt Baldino. He sends it all the way back around towards Kelly. Backhanded feed for Jerry Lasko, and the native of Finland sends one wide. Might have been looking for a deflection off the stick of Baldino, who takes a hit, loses it, comes to the point, and then is sent back behind the net by Sonis, where it is deflected back towards Casey Shea. Beacons have control now. Gallagher backhands it, and eventually they are able to get it out of the zone on a good play by the freshman Wickline. That allows the Beacons to get fresh legs as motoring up the near side with it is Shea. He keeps it himself. The assistant captain gets it poked away. And now here's the aforementioned Kelly, near side, quick blast, nice save with a waffle board by Bustard.
Good save, quick feed by Bustard there. A cross ice pass and a quick snap release there, tested him blocker side, and he was able to get some on it. That was Sones with the shot, and Bustard was able to get blocker on it, deflected up into the netting, and in zone faceoff. 57 seconds left on this power play. Beacons have done a good job killing thus far.
Colin Larkin, his first goal. Assist came from Albie Daly. Meanwhile, this one dumped all the way in. Michaels goes back to clean it up. 47 seconds left on the 2-minute minor for tripping on UMass Boston. Looks like Gannon serving the penalty in there. This one dumped all the way in behind the net. Careens off the end board, not cleared. Here's McDonough, near side, looking for a chance for a one-timer perhaps from Hauk, a native of Richboro, Pennsylvania, Joe Hauk. Going down low, cross-ice feed kept in the zone by Eckelmeyer, a native of my hometown, Doylestown, Pennsylvania. What are the odds of that? Meanwhile, near side, chance bad. Turnover in their own zone. Chance for a one-timer. That one sails through the wickets of Eckelmeyer and all the way down.
Yeah, Mason like to have that one back. You don't want to create a turnover there. You got your forwards moving up the ice. Didn't have a ton of support behind him. Fortunately for him, didn't translate into too much.
UMass Boston has killed off the man advantage as this puck careens towards center ice. Backhanded in on a play made there by Brian Carter. Players jockeying for possession along the end boards. And here come the Corsairs. One careens off the sideboards. That should be and will be icing. And there's Tyler Bishop's speed. Evidence right there.
And a veteran play. Now, clearly could have played that puck, Bishop could have. But he knows that's going to be an ice. He's going to take an angle at which he's going to allow the puck to cross, take the icing, take what we're given essentially, rather than be forced to make a play there with your back towards where you need to go. Smart play.
Gannon back out on the ice to take this face-off. He's out there with Sifferlin and Kuzin. He wins the face-off, but it is swatted out of harm's way, and now motoring forward with it is number 17, Brandon Berkeley. He gets tied up. He's out there along with Connor Court and Matt Baldino as this one is gobbled up by the netminder Bustard.
And you see here both teams with an opportunity now in the power play, and you see Corsairs with a little bit of momentum left after that power play. They didn't generate too much, John. They had a few opportunities and nothing too striking, but still nonetheless you get a little momentum off that.
Baldino lost the face-off, but the Corsairs for the moment were able to keep it in the Beacon zone. And now UMass Boston with a D-to-D feed finds Gabe Chukrin. However, he turns it over at neutral ice. Great swat with the stick by Gannon as he was able to neutralize it 2-on-1.
Yeah, passing's got to be better here, especially on the breakout. It's got to be better.
Looking a little bit like the women's team early on with their passing.
Indeed.
UMass Boston in neutral ice, dumping it all the way in, swatted away with the waffle board off the initial shot from Regnert. Meanwhile, chasing after it is Chukrin as the Corsairs go for a full line change. And Chukrin was unable to connect on that feed intended for Kuzin. Forecheck by Gannon is aggressive, and Lasko turns it over. UMass Boston with possession as Bishop had to dump it all the way in. Big aggressive forecheck there by the Beacons as Caruso making contact. The Beacons finally got it for the moment, but McGregor loses possession as it's swatted back towards neutral ice.
Yeah,
there's a shot, save, rebound in front as it was right there on a tee for McGregor. And now from their own territory, it's Mason sending it forward as Lindsay finds McGregor. David McGregor in front. Oh, it's on a tee for Bishop to blast, and it's a big save with Michaels closing the 5-hole at the last moment.
I'll tell you what, Michaels, that's probably the last guy he wants to see teeing up, tee box type shot. Bishop had all day, stepped into it, was able to crank one low. Michaels was able to make the save, blocker side, hang on, no rebound. 11:05 left, 1-0 Beacons.
So now a face-off to Michaels' left, and a whistle.
He gets his shots, though, doesn't he, John, huh? At the end of the game, you always find Bishop. He's going to get his shots, one way or another.
That's the thing about Tyler is we already saw how good he was in his own zone with the experience. I'm amazed he's already a senior. It feels like just yesterday he was a freshman.
Isn't that crazy?
As this one is a bad play in neutral ice. Allows the Beacons to dump it all the way in. Nackbauer behind, jockeying for possession with Joe Hauk. Right in front, quick shot blocked down. The shot taken by Tim Murphy. First chance to mention the Fairhill, Maryland native. As a feed in front, set up an opportunity for number 24, Mike Sones, but nonetheless, Beacons onside, they say, as that was very close as Tim Murphy came in over the blue line. Now a backhander and a great save made on the backhander by Dakota Keene.
Nice shot by Keene there on the backhand. Surprised Michaels. He was able to fight it off.
So Michaels with a good save there. It's 1-0 UMass Boston. 10 minutes into this one. Colin Larkin with his first of the year.
Big hit there behind the play, or slightly behind the play by Murphy there. As soon as that pass was made, he was on him.
That one deflected out of harm's way, coming off the stick of the forward Kelly. And now, with the puck on the end boards, an opportunity for UMass Boston, and a chance right out in front. Quick blast, high and wide, off the stick of number 16, Cody Wickline.
Good find by Daly. Found Wickline right in the slot, just missed it high.
Coming on in, quick blast deflected, up and out of play. Regnard again taking the shot, and with 9:33 to go, we'll have a whistle.
The hardest thing you talk to, some of the forwards who, play for the Beacons, and I think one of the hardest adjustments is the speed at which the defensemen close on you. So you feel like you have time, you're ready to pick a corner or make a play, and next thing you know, that option's gone. When people talk about the speed at which is played, and we'll get another. I thought we were going to have a whistle here. That's what they're talking about. The amount of speed at which the defense close on you is a little bit different than at the junior level. As Michaels with another glove save, but you saw it a few times here where Keene was able to get the backhand off. He did a nice job, but forwards got to recognize you got to get it off just that much quicker at this level because the D are bigger, they're just as fast, and they can close in on that gap quickly.
9:22 to go, first period of play. Zipperlin will have to take the face-off with Gannon getting tossed. He's going up against number one face-off guy for the visitors, Matt Baldino, but he's tossed as well. So Connor Court, the native of Swansea, Illinois, wins the face-off against Zipperlin. And this one dumped all the way in. So we'll have a whistle.
I think it went off someone on the bench there, John.
And a stoppage of play. 9:14 to go, 1-0 UMass Boston. Colin Larkin getting his first of the year. And so far, the Beacons have really controlled the pace of play. The Corsairs have had their chances, but they've been few and far between.
Yeah, nothing too pressing. A couple shots there, and Beacons have definitely dominated in terms of time of possession. Decent start here. I think the Beacons can take it to another level, though. I've seen them play a little bit faster than they have right now.
Still kind of a feeling out period. So many new faces on both of these clubs, especially UMass Boston, as this one is careening off the end boards. D-to-D feed from Regner to Chukrin, as this one is sent all the way down to careen into the blue line and into the defensive zone, where it is instead sent blue line to blue line for Bishop to backhand in. Here's Gannon chasing down, but he's going to be outnumbered 1-on-2, where Mason Nichols will find his finish line mate, Jerry Lasko. Motoring forward now, and taking a huge penalty and a huge hit. Brett Mason absolutely obliterated Matt Baldino in the Beacon zone.
And John, this is I'm not going to get into it right now, but this is something that, really hockey is trying so hard to eliminate, and we know why, right? The safety reasons, and they don't want any head contact whatsoever. That was, in my opinion, maybe a slight elbow by Mason, but let's be honest, fans like to see hits like that. So he's going to sit for 2. They're going to kill him with an elbow, but the point being is what the word on the street for this year is any big hit, any massive hit, they're going to be looking for any head contact, and if there is, it's going to be a penalty.
I enjoyed it nonetheless. The Beacons will be shorthanded for 2 minutes.
That's his game too. That's what has put Brett Mason in the lineup for as long and as many games played as he has, is he can make hits like that. And hopefully, he can make some adjustments throughout the year because Beacons need it. He's their heaviest hitter without a question.
Shea able to win the faceoff. Back to the point. An opportunity for Laxo to go far side for Kelly. From the far side circle, back to the point for Laxo. Takes the shot, blocked down. Good block by Chukrin. And there is Shea able to get it back to the point. Kelly takes the blast, deflected wide. Comes to Baldino, who gets it back to the point for Laxo. Tried to fake the shot with Daly coming on in. Good take of the body by Chukrin as Laxo uses his skates to keep the puck in and pinches down. Takes a high-rising shot, save made by Bustard, and cleared all the way down by UMass Boston.
Yeah, good save by Bustard. Daly got beat. He went for the poke check there at the blue line and was beaten. A good save by Bustard. Puck came down low. That was a tough shoulder save.
Beacons shorthanded for another 70 seconds as Laxo fakes the move to his left, goes to his right, and is able to find number 10, Casey Shea, but he gets aggressively taken by the Beacons. That's Regnert, and he's able to clear it all the way down.
Beacons PK, I've been impressed. Solid start so far. Usually this early in the season, it's not as tight as it usually is later in the season, and that's not the case here today. Good, solid penalty kill this far.
Here come the Corsairs. That was Zach Zakarowitz. The brothers Kyle and Tanner Zakarowitz of Ludlow, Massachusetts, lining together.
Always intriguing to see 2 brothers on the same team, let alone on the same line.
They are not twins. They're a year apart. It's not like a Sedin situation where they're reading each other's minds.
Extremely
20 seconds to go as this one's dumped all the way in. Beacons will get a fresh set of legs.
Yeah, and they're keeping it simple. Not trying to do too much on the penalty kill. When they're in zone, everything's tight. They know their role. They're not running all over the place, and they're making it really tough for the Corsairs to even enter the zone right now. As you see, 5 seconds left, looking like they're going to kill this off.
Coming on in is Zakarowitz. This is Tanner. Tries to center it up for McDonough. Rebound in front. Backhander deflected wide as Kyle Zakarowitz and Tanner McDonough playing pitch and catch. Here's Kyle. Zakarowitz with possession as he will be jockeyed into the wall there. Good effort made by UMass Boston's Brian Carter as Albie Daly's able to clear. Motoring forward, the Beacons, here they come, 2-on-1, trying to center it, but unable to do so was the forward, number 26, Daniel Nachbar. And eventually it is cleared into neutral ice.
Yeah, the freshman showing a little bit. I'll get to that. Hit another rush for the Beacons.
Here they come. Here's Gallagher, the defenseman, pinching in, tries to wrap it around in front for Larkin, but it's blocked to the side of the net. Larkin now behind the net, coming around, spinning it through the net mouth, but no one was home. And this is dumped all the way to the red line, and it goes through the wickets of Gallagher, but he alertly was able to catch up to it. Here's Regnar trying to dump it towards Daly. The Beacons are onside, but Albie couldn't find Larkin, and it cleared to neutral ice. Getting tripped up, no call.
That was a trip for sure.
Clearly a trip as Gabe Chukrin tumbled down to his knees.
Looked like it. That's all right. Let it go. But I was going to say earlier that 2-on-1 and Knockbar showing a little bit, was definitely trying to force the issue a bit on that pass. I think he looked for it. It wasn't there. Would have loved to seen him tee that up, try to get a shot on goal. But definitely a learning experience. Not sure. Maybe they'll mention it on the bench.
Chukrin is somehow able to keep that in. And now with possession of the puck is Connor Cooley, the Simi Valley, California native. And here they come the other way, led by Baldino. He takes a shot kicked away at the last moment by Bustard.
It's the best save of the period thus far. That thing was coming on him quick.
Speaking of best, here's Gannon with his best chance. Back in the lane. Score! Drew Gannon! Everything's bigger in Texas, and that's a big goal. The Plano native makes it 2-0 UMass Boston.
I'd be willing to say he's the fastest guy on the team. His speed is pretty close to unparalleled as it comes, and he saw there, was able to get into the zone around the D. Let's be honest, didn't get everything he wanted on that backhand, but the old adage is true. Pucks find holes.
I think it went 5-hole.
It was either 5-hole or trickled right by the skate, but what he did was the speed had Michaels committed. He knew he had to get there in a hurry based on the fact of how fast Gannon was coming in on top of him, and even though Gannon didn't get all he wanted on that backhand, still found daylight. Here we have a 2-0 lead for the Beacons.
Auspicious start for the Beacons, looking for more. McGregor gets it from Lindsay. They're lined out there with the freshman Derek Caruso. And here come the Corsairs dumping it in for Bishop to chase. Bishop being harassed by Kyle Zakharowicz. As the stick lift made there by Tanner Zakharowicz, able to get it around the end boards, but good D-to-D feed from Mason finds Bishop, who clears. Caruso at the red line finds McGregor, who tries to sneak underneath the check of the Finnish native Jerry Lasko. This one comes all the way into the crease where Lindsay was waiting, but Michaels makes the save.
Yeah, Caruso just tried. He had Lindsay there. He did. He was trying to feed it to him. Maybe a little pass off pad there off the goaltender. He just elevated it a bit too much, and Michaels was able to get the glove on it and force the whistle. But Beacons here, you see, taking a little bit of that momentum they generated off some of these kills and have translated it into some offense.
Gallagher, that's going to be a difficult knuckler, but it dipped and died right into the glove of Drew Michael. So with 4:06 to go, first period of play, Matt. So far, the Beacons have picked up right where they left off last season.
And just solid play. Nothing too, I'm not seeing any type of serious domination in any way, shape, or form, but they're definitely, beating them in multiple ways right now, is most importantly on the scoreboard. And as you said, a lot of freshmen in the lineup, a little bit of a learning curve there.
Even more so, as that's a good play made by UMass Boston, as Tim Murphy kept his head up. If he didn't, he would have taken a big hit. The freshman fighting for possession on this yellow line out there with Nakbar and Dakota Keene, as this one sent right up into the netting. All three of these guys freshmen, Keene, Nakbar, and Murphy. We haven't seen these guys before. It's going to be exciting to see them develop.
And that's the thing. There's a sense of intrigue, right? These guys are heavily recruited to come here, and when they do, you want to see what they bring to the table. Obviously, a team is not comprised of all goal scorers or all stay-at-home type of defense or forward. So it's interesting to see what their roles become and what they evolve into as the season goes on.
UMass Boston wins the faceoff. That was Larkin. Keeping it in is Gallagher back behind the net. Larkin pinching in. And instead it's intercepted and cleared out of the zone. Here's Casey Shea. Shea in that top line out there. Casey tried to get it from a bad angle, short side. Instead it's stuck up in the netting, and we'll get a whistle.
Gal's fortunate there. I think he was a little bit late on the pivot. And fortunately, didn't really cross him. I don't think he even generated a true shot on goal, but it's a little late on that pivot getting back. Was able to make a play on it. Nevertheless,
one thing we have seen that the 2015-16 team was so successful at was dominating opponents with not only their speed but also their physicality.
That's right.
Gannon with the speed on the breakaway goal and the physicality we saw on the big hit from Brett Mason.
Absolutely.
Here comes Albie Daly. He's a physical player. Finds Larkin. Oh, and that one was a heat-seeking missile that just missed wide.
Get used to seeing that, folks. Daly to Larkin this year. Get used to it.
Right in front of Chance. Oh, kicked away by Bustard, as screaming the other way were the Corsairs, led by number 17, Brandon Berkeley. Back and forth they go. 3 minutes left in the first, as this one is fisted into the bench of UMass Dartmouth. And we'll have a timeout with 2:54 to go.
You saw on the 3-on-2, Daly's coming down what would be the right side and coming in on net. Now, he definitely has an opportunity, multiple options actually. He can shoot it, he can try to go cross ice. You saw him with his head up the whole time. He's looking for Larkin. He knows he's got Larkin coming late, and with that release, why not, right? So it feeds him right in the slot. Larkin was able to get a shot on goal off the post there. Almost made it 3-0 Beacons, but that's the type of play, especially in an odd man rush, we're going to see a lot of this year.
From neutral territory, UMass Boston, John Regner goes D-to-D for Chukrin, and Gabe taking it all the way himself into the attacking zone. Far side dot, around the horn it comes, as pinching in to send this back towards the point where Chukrin gets it was McGregor, as Chukrin takes a bad angle shot, deflected up and out of play. 2:28 to go in the first period of play. You are watching the Beacons Broadcasting Network, the home opener for your defending New England Hockey Conference champions, the UMass Boston Beacons, along with Matt Meisenbacher. I am John Skudras. 2-0 Beacons early on, and McGregor will take the face-off against McDonough. McDonough wins it towards the near side corner. Hit late on there as Lindsay is unable to catch up to it. Caruso, McGregor, and Lindsay part of this third line tonight. Mason and Bishop are the blue liners right now. That is your top blue line pairing for Peter Belisle. As we are down to the final 125 seconds of the first period. And Bishop goes D to D, hard pass. Mason shot deflected wide. I think the save was made by Michaels, and he fisted it to the side of the net.
He didn't see it. I think he just tried to take away the percentages, and I think he went off his pad and into the corner, but that puck was definitely redirected.
This one sent towards the near side. Bishop can't keep it in, and he does a good job with the stick, at least to prevent any opportunity for Kyle Zakarowicz. And a stretch pass for Kyle Zakarowicz is off the mark. That'll be icing. So the Beacons, with 93 seconds left in period one, will have an offensive zone face-off.
Definitely want to end the period here. See if we can sneak one more in. They've got the Corsairs pinned somewhat. We've had about 2 or 3 shifts now where it's really been difficult for UMass Dartmouth to exit their own zone, and the Beacons might be able to generate a few more opportunities here and see if they can sneak another one in before the end of the period.
That one off the face-off win was snatched out of the air by Michaels on a bad angle shot by UMass Boston's Daniel Nakbar.
And that's an interesting play there. You see Murphy on the wing, and rather than being where you traditionally be on the hash, he takes 2, maybe 3. You see him there, 2, maybe 3. He's kind of in an awkward position, but what he's trying to do is get that win. And it didn't work there, but get that win and generate a quick shot, and there's an opportunity.
Right in front, Nakbar is able to find, I think that's Dakota Keene, the freshman out of Maine. Almost got that past Michaels.
And let's see. I thought he was going to leave him on for one more. He decided to change. So I saw Coach there who's kind of waiting. And what he's doing there, these guys got to learn. The only way you're going to learn is by being on the ice. I thought he might leave him for possibly one more draw. Instead, he sends his top line out there. See if they can get anything going.
It is the top scoring line. Albie Daly out there taking the face-off as Colin Larkin was tossed, and now a break for the Beacons as Shea gets tossed. Big shot save, rebound with a backhand off the mark as Cody Wickline was looking for a goal. He gets hit from behind a cross-check, and UMass Boston will head back to the power play.
And this is what sustained pressure gives you, John, is even though you don't score, these Corsair players, you start getting frustrated. You can't get out of your own zone. Shift after shift, you're pinned. And you generate a penalty off of it. So, it doesn't always have to translate directly into the scoreboard. Here you have it. Beacons at least 4 or 5 draws alone in the offensive zone and forced the Corsairs to take a penalty. Here you have a minute 15 left in the period, and now you got a man advantage.
Whistle right off the face-off. The penalty is on David Scarbeck, the Hyannis native and freshman. So the Beacons, for the remainder of the first period, will be on the man advantage. Daly out there to take this face-off. He wins it. Larkin from the point, deflected by Daly high and wide.
Such a heavy shot here, and this is usually where you'd see Garrison Santapass. Unfortunately injured right now, so someone's going to have to step into that role.
There's a quick blast, D to D feed, Kuzin, and it's dumped all the way in and down the ice.
And you see Tyler Sifferlin getting a chance on the power play, the second line wing.
That is not the way to receive that pass. Larkin tried to get pretty, but he did a good job making up for it. Larkin, toe drag, was trying to look far side for Kuzin, and Bishop does a good job keeping it in. He'll smartly go down low. Larkin deflected in front on an opportunity for a goal there from Sifferlin. Here's Daly waiting, drops it back. Bishop faked the shot, 30 seconds left, period number 1. Bishop looking to go right into the slot, finds Daly, whiffed on the shot, and it's still alive. A net mouth scramble, Daly misses and whiffs as this is dumped down.
Missed twice, he had 2 opportunities. And I know he's kicking himself. He knew he had an empty net there. He was quick trying to grab it and throw it back in front, just wasn't able to get to it.
Here's Albie, last chance for romance. 10 seconds to go, it's 2-0 Beacons. Albie shot right in front, careens wide, wraparound chance looking for the aforementioned Tyler Sifferlin's off the mark, and that will do it for period 1. Thank goodness, because that was going to be a shorthanded breakaway for number 23, Mike Kelly. So after 20 minutes of play, Matt, Beacons have had a lot of power play opportunities. They tacked in early on the goal by Larkin with the man advantage. They added another later on a beautiful goal from Drew Gannon on an odd man rush. 2-0 Beacons after one. Overall impression, are you happy with what you saw?
Yeah, that's when you just file away. You bring out the checklist. I think you check off all the things you wanted to do. I don't think you were necessarily, killing them or dominating them to the point of, no return, but it was a solid period by the Beacons, dominated in possession. You saw late, they were able to generate a lot of opportunities. They were buzzing there, maybe with a minute or two more. Might have been able to score there, but it's just a solid period overall. Look good in the defensive zone. The one area for improvement, some turnovers. The passing, we saw this again in the women's game. It's a natural thing that happens early on in the season as players get used to kind of the speed of the game, but the passing needs to improve. You've seen some passes that are just suspect overall.
As the season goes on, you'd expect the chemistry to grow and those things to get cleaned up. Now, one major thing that we are focusing on this season is the performance of our freshman goalkeeper. Last year, Billy Faust was one of the key reasons, if not the main reason, for the success late in the season and in the postseason, a couple of shutouts.
Yep.
You have Bustard, a freshman from Flanders, New Jersey. What's your overall impression of him, your first chance seeing him live?
Well, I think overall the team did a nice job of letting him get into kind of a groove early on. He's only had one game under his belt, so he's still new to this, and I think the big thing they want to do in talking to some of the players is shots from the perimeter. Goaltenders love it. They can see it. They can track it. They get a good feel for it. You saw he was challenged at one point with that kick save he had, so he is up to the task. It's not like he's lacking in the ability to make saves, but I think for the first period especially, Beacons definitely wanted to allow Buster to get into a feel for things, and I think they did. He had a solid period, made some nice saves. He controlled the game. He managed the game. It'll be a little bit different here in the second period with the long change, obviously, longer shifts by nature, but solid first period from the freshman.
Well, we hope for more of the same the rest of the way. We are through 20 minutes of play here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, and UMass Boston leads their rivals from the south, the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs, by a score of 2-1. Well, expectations were high a year ago, and the Beacons certainly met them. They're very high yet again, not only for the fans, the broadcasting crew, and those who go to this school, but for the players as well. Let's hear from a couple of them on the captain's season preview. That's right here on the First Intermission Report on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
I think this year differs just in the fact that last year coming in, I knew all the guys that were returners. I was really comfortable with the group, and we had a smaller group of freshmen, so with a smaller group coming in, it was easy for me to get to know those guys, really early on and train with them, a week before even school started. So from the moment we stepped on the ice, I felt comfortable last year with everything, in terms of our personnel and our team top to bottom. And this year differs a little bit in the sense that there's 12 freshmen that myself and the other captains and the rest of the upperclassmen have had to kind of groom into our system. So, I think this preseason was a little bit different, like I said, just in terms of developing these guys into, Beacon hockey players and telling them from an early point, the prestige that this program now carries and trying to get that into their heads that it always hasn't been that way. And we want to keep it that way.
Obviously last year we had a great run, ended in the Frozen Four, but, we have pretty much a completely different team. We lost 9 or 10 guys last year, and we brought in like 12. So it's a completely different feel, and us as captains, we have to drill that into their heads that it's a new season, and we still got to prove that we're the best in this league. Being picked first in the conference, obviously every night we're gonna have the target on our back, get everyone's best every night. So obviously we gotta be ready for that and prepare during the week, during practice, and give it our best shot on the weekend.
I think, we did lose a lot of guys. Matt Lemire, All-American first-team guy, a lot of points. Frankie DeAugustine, some big players. I think our focus this year is we have a different team. It's a new year. I think we're going to have guys step up. I know I'm going to have to step up offensively. Albie Daly, our captain, and then, some of our freshmen, we're going to put big roles on them on the power play and some other stuff. So we really need a group effort to offensively to kind of match what we did last year, and I don't know if we'll score as many goals as last year, even the year before, but I know defensively we're going to be much better. we have the same defense coming back, so that'll be huge for us. But I think it's gonna have to be a group effort offensively.
I mean, we have a lot of great defensemen coming back. We lost obviously Andrew Crawford, who was a big part of our team last year. But Dante Sarvadini's come in. He's looked really good in preseason, and I mean, we have 8 or 9 really good defensemen that could play any night. So it'll be a battle to see who gets in for the entire season. Yeah, I mean, obviously ever since I've been here, it's been Zach and Billy as the 2 goalies. So it's a little bit of a transition to a couple new guys. But I mean, so far in the preseason, they've looked really good. Obviously, it'll be a battle to see who the starter is, and that'll continue out throughout the entire year.
In the preseason, we saw a lot from different guys. The freshmen, Redler and Sifferlin, those kind of guys. Kuzin, we need those guys to step up offensively. They're coming in, they're going to be playing big minutes for us. And then guys like McGregor and Gannon have, picked up their game from last year, and that we should see a little bit more from them. I think offensively, those guys, they're going to be we're going to need more from them this year. And, guys like Gannon and McGregor, they're going to have to carry their line as centermen and kind of fill those shoes a little bit more too.
I think the best part about having in-practice battles and, constant in and out of the lineup, guys coming in, guys leaving, I think it keeps things very competitive, both, in games to perform at your best and in practice to bring it every day, both upperclassmen and underclassmen alike. So I think, that's not a bad problem to have when you have so many guys that could play on a day-to-day basis. So if anything, I just think it keeps it more competitive, and I think it actually brings us closer as a team to have guys competing, day in and day out and continuously giving it their all throughout practice and games.
Yeah, it's huge. Really excited. I know I have family coming from out of town, already excited for that game. It'll be a lot of excitement, a lot of energy around that game, especially being against Babson. That's a rivalry game. I think as it gets closer, it'll kind of hit us more, and we'll be ready to go for that one. Hopefully it's not too cold, so the weather holds up a little bit.
The only expectations now for us are to, first to win the league, obviously, and then go from there. But I think right now, going into the year, our biggest goal is to win our conference and get back to that driver's seat that we were in last year. And hopefully we take care of business in the regular season and we can have home ice again. But, right now we're just trying to tell the guys to take it one step at a time, to win our first game. We're focusing on Curry, and then we go from there, from that point on, and build from that point.
Welcome back into the broadcasting booth. I am John Skudris. UMass Boston leading 2-0 over the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs. Goals by Colin Larkin and Drew Gannon, both of their first of the season. Assists coming from Caruso, Daly, and Sifferlin, as UMass Boston leads by a score of 2-0 after 1. Let's take a look at the first period statistics here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. First intermission report. UMass Boston dwarfing the Corsairs in shots, 21-8. They were able to come away with 17 face-offs of the 28 overall face-offs allowed. Meanwhile, the power plays, well, both teams got 2 opportunities. The Beacons the only one able to cash in on one of those opportunities, as the opening goal from Larkin came on the first power play of the afternoon. We move along here on the intermission report by taking a look around Beaconville. The women's hockey team won earlier today, a 4-2 triumph over Southern Maine that head coach Lindsey Berman described as just another part of the process. She wasn't very enthused by the team's victory, playing a team in Southern Maine that hadn't scored dating back to February of last year, but the Beacons were able to come away with the win, nonetheless, 4-2. In women's volleyball, the volleyball team won the Little East Conference yet again as they defended their conference championship with a 3-0 victory in their match in the LEC title game against Plymouth State. And the men's soccer team wraps up Championship Saturday as they take on number 2 Rhode Island College at 7 p.m. over there at BC High. So a lot of action going on today around Beaconville. Let's take a look at all the action going on around the New England Hockey Conference. A lot of hockey action on a Saturday afternoon. At the end of one, New England College and Castleton are tied at goose eggs. St. Anselm is trailing Skidmore 2-0 at the end of one. Southern Maine leads St. Michael's College 1-0 also in the first intermission. The Cadets of Norwich leading Daniel Webster 2-1. And the Babson College Beavers are knotted up with the Plymouth State Panthers at 2 after 1 from Babson. Well, we already heard from, as we actually get a chance to look ahead before we do hear from Peter Belisle, looking ahead at what's coming up for the UMass Boston Beacons as they obviously have a lot of action coming on up. You know what? Let's go to the head coach of this team first before we do that, as we're going to take a look at Peter Belisle and see what type of season he anticipates the Beacons having in 2016.
Well, it's not going to be easy because we got 12 freshmen. We got 2 freshman goalies. We're going to have to play 6 freshman forwards. So we got a whole new team. I like our group a lot. It's good that we have half the team that had some success and they have a taste of that. But these new guys have not. So we've got great leadership in Albie and Larkin and Bishop and Mason and Lindsay, our seniors, to show them the way and show them this is the way we do things. This is our expectation, and hopefully we can reach our goals. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think we're going to have to give everybody a chance early. There's certainly some kids that I think have stuck out, and they'll get their chance early, just given, we only have a 2-week sample size. We'll start from there, and then we'll have to kind of add and subtract from there. But I think it's going to be a lot of mixing and matching in the beginning here to see who can play and who can adjust. Hopefully these freshmen have a quick adjustment period. Great schedule. It starts off tough against Curry College. I mean, they got a team of a senior Latin team, probably the opposite of us, where I think they have 12 seniors. So we'll start with them, and then we play UMass Dartmouth, and we got a good Thanksgiving trip. We finished the first semester with Wentworth, and then, to play at Frozen Fenway. It's a league game. So against Babson, it's a league game, but it just adds another element to it, which is really special for the guys. So they look good. I haven't seen any of them in a game yet. Jake Kaler looks much improved. But he hasn't played a collegiate game. Jordan Bustard and Jeff Hextall look good too, but they haven't played in a collegiate game. So the job is really up for grabs, and we're going to try something on Saturday, and we'll go from there.
Welcome back into the broadcasting booth along with Matt Meisenbacher. I am John Skudris. We're going to go to the highlights here now of the first period play on the first period intermission report. And Matt, as we take a look at the highlights here beginning early on, it was Colin Larkin scoring the first goal of the game on a power play. Michaels had the best of it earlier. Here's Larkin's goal.
Yeah, and you can see that quick release, and he's got that shot just off the tape so quickly. You're going to see the common theme here with a lot of these highlights is Beacons enter the zone. As soon as they hit really the top of the circle, they're looking to make a move. Whether it's a pass or a shot, they're going to move that puck. And there's the second goal there. That was Gannon. We talked about the speed at which he entered the zone to score that goal, but the common theme here you're going to see are the Beacons are just generating areas where they know they can make plays from. Typically, the high part of the zone, right between the blue line and the top of the circle is some area there. They've been using that to their advantage. We'll see if that continues here in the second period.
So the Beacons outshot their opponents 21-8 in the first period of play. They will look to do more of the same in the second, and they will be on the power play for 45 more seconds.
Yep.
As we begin period number 2. You're curious to the second period, Matt, as the Beacons are set to come on out onto the ice.
I think the thing you always have to be canny of, especially in the second period, is that long change. Your defense especially, you got to keep your shift short, because if you get caught, next thing you know, you're out there minute 30, especially if you get pinned, can really drain you. So definitely got to keep this shift short, and from a goaltending perspective, be canny with that long change. There might be some opportunities to send that puck up, especially if there's a dump. Go get to it and fire it. Don't forget, with the collegiate level, there's no trapezoid, so the goaltenders are free to roam. If you can get to that puck and fire one up, I've seen this, you can send your forwards in on a nice chance, so look for that as well.
Well, the Beacon's third string netminder has some pretty good blood when it comes to playing the puck as a goalie, Jeff Hextall.
That's right.
His father, Ron Hextall, is a former Philadelphia Flyers goalie.
Legend, I
should say. He won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the postseason MVP in 1987. He scored a postseason goal. I believe became the first netminder in NHL history to score a goal in the postseason back in the late 80s. And he is now the general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers, Ron Hextall. His son, Jeff, a freshman at 6'2", the third goalie for Peter Belisle's club. So the Beacons are all set to go. It'll be Ali Daly ready to take it, facing off against Baldino. As Daly is out there with Caruso to the near side. And at the far side, his winger is number 28, Ryan Kuzin. Here is Larkin on the power play. Takes a shot, trying to go far side on a pass for the cutting Caruso, and could not connect.
Unlikely to see any type of feeling out here early on. With 30 seconds left in the power play, expect the Beacons to press harder than they normally would here and try to capitalize. You saw him right off the bat there, getting pucks to the net and forcing Michaels to make a couple saves.
Daly dumped it all the way in. Caruso unable to get there as it's dumped back by the Corsairs as Bishop corrals the puck. Here is Caruso with possession, gets around the defense, all the way in. Power play is now over as fresh legs coming on here for the Dartmouth Corsairs.
That Caruso kid's got a nice stride. It seems like as a shot here, good stop there by Michaels. But like the way that Caruso kid skates, and we'd like to see more of him as the game goes on.
Dumped all the way in by UMass Boston. Just 1 minute into period number 2. It is 2-0 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I am John Skudras, Matt Meisenbacher with me on the call. As this one is behind the net. A couple of Beacons collide with each other. That was Nakbar and Regnart. As to the far side it comes, chipped up the side by Murphy, but not out. Regnart, the native of Alaska, now has possession. 1.5 minutes into period 2, Beacons with the puck. Careening, a hook there, not called, and here come the Beacons, 3-on-2. Nakbar takes a shot and snatched out of the air with a beautiful glove save by Michaels.
And they did get that call, John. It wasn't the ref you expected. It was actually the ref that was away from the play, and there will be another Beacons power play. They're going to send off Sones. He's going to sit for 2 on the hook, and Beacons back on the power play. We expected this. We knew with the rule changes, and that one was pretty overt, but with the rule changes, we knew we were going to see a bunch of power plays today. So here you have Beacons back. They just killed one off. The Corsairs did. Beacons back on the power play early in the second.
Gannon unable to win it, but the Beacons are able to keep it in the zone. Near side, here's Regnart. Regnart thought about going D to D. Instead, he will dump it to the far side. What a one-timer! He scores! Drew Gannon! 2 for the price of 1 for number 7 and wide. And the Plano native has made it 3-0 UMass Boston.
Wow. Puck movement. That's all that was. Puck movement. And you see what it can do to a team. When you move that puck quickly, effectively on the tape, it's almost impossible to defend, especially on the power play. And you saw there, particularly at the end, the puck went high to low. Regnard right below, at or below the goal line in the corner. And Gannon took 1 step high in the slot, was able to connect on the pass. One-timer home, high glove side. That's the second I've seen him beat high glove today. Might be something to keep note of. But there are the Beacons, and that puck movement was a thing of beauty.
You talk about all the offense that this program has lost over the last couple of years from players graduating or transferring. The Milums, the McIntyres, the Lemirs. Who's going to pick up the slack? Drew Gannon had only 5 goals in 29 games last year. As this shot hits off the sideboards, he now has 2 and 2 this year. Well, not even 2 and 1.5.
Yeah, and he's definitely somebody that's going to be asked to do more than last year. He's a top forward now for the Beacons with all the people that they graduated, Miller, Colucci. You mentioned some of the other names. He's going to have to play a bigger role this year.
Careening off of the skate of Lindsay. And, a big hit at neutral ice as McGregor goes down like a tree in the forest. No call, clean hit.
and he's going to need to be looked at. That was a big hit, and he seems to be all right. He's skating off of his own power, but our trainer, Ed Perkins, is going to want to take a look at him.
Nakbar replaces him on the ice. Beacons have possession behind the net. And the man with the puck is Caruso. He faked the handoff to Lindsay, and now he's going to send a outlet pass to be corralled by Nakbar. Nakbar to the near side for Carter, who dumps it around the end boards, carrying over to the far side wall where Lindsay's unable to get possession. Here come the Corsairs, streaking up and dropping it back. That one all the way up into the netting. They're going to say it was deflected after the shot by Joe Eckelmeyer.
Yeah, I think when it might have gone off Keene a little bit there. That's why faceoff's going to stay in the zone. But even on the rush there, that's, Corsairs were breaking out of the zone. Seemed like they had a chance at a 3-on-2, so 2-on-2, but Beacons D were back. Total gap control, didn't really give much, allowed the forwards to come back as well. There you see Keene coming back into the zone, was able to deflect it out of play for a faceoff.
Face-off won by the Beacons as Mason is able to get there. Dumps it along the far side boards. Moving up with it now, UMass Boston's Tim Murphy dumps it in for Dakota Keene, and it deflects into the crowd for another whistle as this one will come to neutral ice.
I'll take a minute here, John. It's hockey, NHL hockey fights cancer. It's a disease and a sickness that really affects everyone on this planet. And if you get a minute, the greatest of all time, Doc Emmerich, has a great monologue he did. It was on NHL.com. If you get a minute today, check it out. Very few people know he actually battled cancer in the past. So if you get a minute, check it out. And thoughts and prayers to those that are dealing with that disease currently.
Absolutely, as there isn't a soul on earth that hasn't been affected some way by cancer.
Absolutely.
So everybody knows somebody that they know and love to have either beaten the disease or unfortunately fell victim to it. And we do salute all of those who have been dealt that difficult blow, and hopefully one day we'll be able to find a solution and a cure to this terrible disease. Right now, though, the Beacons are trying to find a solution to Drew Michaels, who gobbles that one up with the left glove.
Yeah, nifty little play there by Keene. I've liked the way this kid's played. First go here, it's always a ton of energy, let alone being a freshman, but also this early in the season to get the call. And I like the way this Dakota kid has played. He's found his way. He's got a couple shots on goal. That one was a little tricky. He was able to create a little bit of a screen, challenged Michaels a little bit more than was a tip from the point, but I like the way the Keene kid has played.
Face-off was won by Larkin. Daly got it back to Chukrin. The deflection in front by Larkin off the mark. Colin now with it. Backhander near side. And eventually careening out of the zone on a good poke made there by number 24, Mike Soames. With possession, here's Casey Shea. Spinorama splash, but nobody home in the net mouth, and eventually the Beacons get it. Daly whiffed on it. It's able to regain possession. That is offsides.
Yeah.
If it's touched up. It is smartly not by Mike Kelly. As the Corsairs touch up, long stretch pass, and that's not a good one.
Yeah, and first you got Daly just trying to do too much. He knew he had a play on the wing there and was trying to force the issue. It was fortunate that was offsides. It could have easily been a rush going down the other way. And then you have the crossing pass, just not really even close. And that's something that we've talked about. It'll evolve as the season progresses. Usually you connect on those, but the face-off down in the Beacon zone. 14:47 left in the second period.
Face-off won by the Corsairs. Good block getting down. And making that play was Wickline. As here's Daly with Larkin and Wickline. Daly finds Larkin right in front. What a save! Drew Michael gets over to deny the freshman Cody Wickline.
Fantastic play by the Beacons forwards there. That line was moving quickly. Michaels came side to side, was able to get a pad on it. There's a turnover.
Gannon looking for the hat trick. Oh, what a save! Michael delivers.
He's holding this team in it right now. Could easily be 4-5-0 at this point.
Oh, Drew Gannon had a hat trick on his stick on a breakaway, and he could not deliver. What a save by Michael, back-to-back for number 30 in blue.
Great effort there. As you mentioned, Beacons all over the Corsairs right now.
Right now, the Corsair ship is sinking as they've got to patch that up quickly. As this is intercepted at neutral ice, coming forward with it are the Beacons. A chance from point-blank range. Save made off that blast from Sifferlin. Beacons keep it in the zone. The blitz, Craig, and onslaught continues as that one sailed over the net on a blast by Carter. And now finally the Corsairs can get it as they move up forward. That is Kyle Zakharowicz. Zakharowicz stuck into the end boards by Gannon. And eventually the puck kicks towards Carter.
I'd like to see Gallagher get a body on him there. He didn't have much speed coming into the zone. Gallagher's a big boy. He can skate. Would have liked to see a little bit more contact.
There's a penalty coming. Oh, no, it's delayed offsides, excuse me. Connor Court laid a hit for the Corsairs that caused that. And then Gallagher goes body surfing into the attacking zone after he absorbed a hit and then heads to the bench. 7 minutes into the second period as we inch closer to the halfway point of this one. That one careens off of the glass and is sent all the way back in by Bishop.
Corsairs don't have much of an answer for this breakout right now. Beacons are all over him. They're trying to connect. There's a home run pass that just missed.
And that's not off. That's not going to be icing because beating them out and getting a pass right in front was Shea. And a great opportunity for the Corsairs to get on the board, but denied on the short side was Brandon Berkeley.
And Bustard's got to recognize there that that's not going to be an icing and go make a play as this shot by McGregor is going to be stopped by Michaels. But, you know, that's a learning moment there for the goaltender. You see there that puck they missed on the home run pass. It looked like it was going to be an icing. You know, you pick your head up, you notice that as the Corsairs are coming into the zone, clearly we're going to win that race. If you can move that puck, you saw what it translated to. He ended up having to make a save on it. So would have liked to see him travel a little bit outside the net, just move that puck to a safer play, allow his defense to come back.
From high atop Edward T. Barry Ice Rink, I'm John Skudras with Matt Meisenbacher, and that was Gabe Chukrin taking the shot. The deflection in front, I believe, was from Tim Murphy, who gets acquainted with his future rivals, the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs, with a little pushing and shoving in front of the crease.
Beacons run so many plays off the draw, and you'll see after each and every whistle when there's a draw coming up, the center will discuss with each, not only the forwards, but the D, what they're going to run. They run at least 3, 4, sometimes 5 different face-off plays.
Beacons win that face-off again. Great look by Chukrin as he was trying to go short side for Keene. Dakota is able to get the puck into the net mouth, but it's eventually cleared all the way down into the Beacon zone, where Regnart will have to do some maintenance. The Anchorage native goes far side for Murphy, and oh, Tim took a huge hit. He didn't see it coming in front, and an opportunity on a one-timer for Casey Shays off the mark.
Murphy just lucky that it was a 2-on-1 down low and didn't translate into more. Could have been pretty dangerous as we'll get a whistle here. Michaels holds on to it, but that's a tough spot on the turnover off the wall there. You've got the rest of the team moving north, right? So everyone's moving, constant flow on the breakout, and if you turn that puck over, caught in a tough spot, especially on the defensive side of the puck, you're pretty much flat-footed. You got a quick pivot and get back, and you saw there almost 2-on-1, almost translated into the Corsairs' first goal.
Top line back out there, Albie Daly along with Cody Wickline, and there's Colin Larkin with another shot. He's got the opening goal this game, a power play goal, his first of the year. The score is 3-0 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. As trying to keep that one in there was Wickline. He could not as it trickles back to Gallagher at the red line. Gallagher smartly just backhands it in, allows Albie Daly to chase. And that's going to be Joe Eckelmeyer fighting for possession with a couple of Beacons as this one's pressed up against the back of Michael's net. Whiffing on the centering pass there was Daly. Still waiting is Albie, and Albie is able to find Larkin. Larkin just lifts that one up over the stick of the defender, Eckelmeyer, and eventually comes back to the point for a shot from Gallagher that sails wide. Carter pinching in as Brian's able to get it behind the net. Daly looking short side, goes right to Larkin, but his shot sailed just wide of the far side post. Gallagher keeps it in for Daly. Albie going to Larkin. He got hooked, no call. There's a shot deflected in front by Albie Daly, and this top line of the Beacons maintaining possession and keeping it in the zone, and they almost did it again, but mercifully the puck trickles towards center ice.
Great shift by the top line there. Fantastic shift. Multiple shots. Puck was moving around. Everyone was getting touches. Great shift there.
And some contact behind the net. I wanted to ask you as we get a whistle and a penalty.
Yeah, something's going on here. Let's see. I don't know if they're going to be.
Got to be on the Beacons, right?
Four side. Let's see. Got the ref Cronin going to make the call. And now Shipley, the other referee's over there talking to him. Let's see. You got to put somebody. I don't know what the whistle was for there, John. What was going on? It seemed like we were going to get a penalty. They were talking to Coach Blyle, not really sure what for at this point, but regardless, we've got a defensive zone faceoff for the Beacons, which they lose.
10.5 to go here in the second period of play. Quick wraparound shot is denied by the waffle board of the netminder, as that shot came from Chris Holmes, who was a late entry into this game for Jeff Kirkwood. From the near side wall, and a penalty coming up on the Beacons. And I think that's Cody Wickline.
Yeah, Whitlock's going to go. They're going to call him on a trip there, and Beacons will find themselves shorthanded. A little bit of pressure here from UMass Dartmouth. They were able to generate a shot on goal earlier. And John, I believe you had a question?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, we talked about that yellow line. In the past, we've seen some veteran leadership. Yep. Sometimes Albie Daly would be down there. Mike Miller spent a lot of time there. All freshmen.
Jeremy Finger.
And we saw in their last shift a bad turnover by Miller.
Yeah.
How important is that to have some sort of leadership on your checking line?
Quite honestly, I'm a bit surprised. As far as I can remember with that yellow line, there was definitely at least one junior or senior on there to kind of set the tone, lead the way. You could go as far back, Connor McStravick, Mark Grinhouse. Those were stalwarts of the yellow line, and all freshmen today. So interesting change. Haven't really seen that much from Coach Blyle in the past, but definitely willing to bite the bullet, so to speak, with maybe some of these turnovers.
So the penalty was on Wickline. The freshman will head to the sin bin for 2. There's a quick one-timer and a good heady effort there by Chuck Grin to deflect it wide.
Well, he's good, isn't he? He really has no fear getting in the lane.
That's what you want out of your defense. No fear that time for number 10, Casey Shea, as he was in the shooting lane trying for a deflection. He's the man with the puck right now. 70 seconds left on the 2-minute minor, as the Beacons trying to keep that 3-0 lead, and that'll help as a bad, lazy play by Shea on the backhanded D-to-D feed.
Beacons love going partially aggressive. Not to say that they attack the puck carrier immediately as they touch it. It's a slow aggression as they handle the puck. You'll see somebody come out, challenge them, and UMass Dartmouth right now just doesn't have the passing ability to beat the Beacons. They're not quick enough with their passes. They're not crisp enough to be able to beat their penalty kill right now.
Yeah, sloppy. Here is Casey Shea, the junior from Woburn, has possession, poked away, keeping it in is a chance for Bandino, and his shot sails high and wide as Baldino almost found Twine.
Yeah, he was all alone in the slot there. Could have picked either side, really, glove or blocker, missed it glove side wide. Beacons were able to clear.
Still 3-0, just 18 seconds left on the penalty, as Wickline had one leg over the wall already, ready to come out. And now a bad turnover. UMass Boston has it. Here's Tim Murphy as he dumps it in. That'll kill off the remainder of the power play. So the Beacons kill off yet another penalty. Looking so far so good on both the power play and the penalty kill.
Very solid. The power plays looked great, but I think what's been more impressive is the penalty kill. I've said it earlier, at this point in the season, you expect some mistakes. I haven't seen many. These guys know what they're doing. It's a very tight penalty kill, and they do a good job of blocking lanes, not allowing a lot of pucks through, and then clearing those opportunities as well.
Here come the Beacons as Wickline is able to get it from McGregor, drops it back. Here's a blast by Mason. That one blocked down in front and wide. A no-look feed from Daly, keeping that one in with a good effort was Bishop. Daly now picks it off behind the net, right out in front, and a quick short side shot there by Wickline is denied by Michael.
Boy, this line moves, doesn't it? Look at the movement here.
It's so good, not only at moving, but also at limiting mistakes, as that one is sent up into the catwalks, and that'll keep the face-off in the Beacon zone. 7:09 to go, second period of play.
Been good. This top line, even the freshmen, has stepped in nicely. There's some chemistry brewing here. John, is obviously Larkin and Daly know each other very well, play with each other many times throughout the season, occasionally separated, but even the freshman has stepped in and done nicely today.
Yeah, Wickline, with the exception of the penalty he just took, has had a couple of scoring opportunities. Certainly helps to be lined with Daly and Larkin, as Larkin tumbles down in the face-off circle, as Daly fighting for possession on the forecheck behind the net. Albie came away with it momentarily, and then he gets it stripped away yet again by Joe Eckelmeyer. Mason Nickel looking for it, able to find Larkin in front, but he was denied.
Seems like that option there is at all times. Corsairs haven't had an answer for it. We've seen that play, that little bump pass from Daly to Larkin at least 4 or 5 times today.
That one dumped all the way in by Cooley, and we will have a whistle with 6:35 to go in period number 2.
A little bit of extra stuff there. Larkin accustomed to a little bit of after the whistle stuff, being the good Michigan boy that he is. Big Wolverine fan.
Oh, man, not a fan of the Big Ten no matter who you are, to be honest.
Having a solid year, John, Michigan is.
They are, but I'm not a front runner. I know you're a Yankees and a Giants fan, so maybe, you know.
You can't call me a front runner with the way those teams have been playing, by any stretch of the imagination.
No comment as the two teams are fighting for it in the corner. Nice aggressive play made there by Chukrin as he tosses number 24, Mike Sones, to the ice like a rag doll. This one comes back to the point for a quick blast wide. That was intentional as the shot came from Mason Nichols.
And Dartmouth just, I haven't seen a lot. I mean, it comes in spurts. They get their chances. I just haven't seen any really sustained pressure from them at all yet in this game.
Motoring on in with possession was Patrick Wren. First chance to say their fourth-line center's name today as that one's in the catwalks, and we'll get a whistle with 5:49 to go.
We'll get a change here, and might be a little bit of a skate issue there. Chukrin coming off. Might want to take a look at his edge. You see him there. Something's going on. He's talking to the manager here, Kavanaugh. I think it's something with his skate. I don't think it's an injury. He seemed to be looking at his blade there, John, and obviously Beacons need him. He's one of their top defensemen, need him coming back, so hopefully they can get him to the skate room and then get him back on the ice.
In the Beacons' defensive zone, they're able to take control after the face-off win. Bishop looking for some help, and eventually it is to neutral ice. Dumped in behind the net. 5:35 to go as Mason backhands it for Bishop, and Tyler will move forward. Trying a nice long pass. They are offsides is the call.
I don't know. I don't know. You saw that formula, didn't you, John? You saw Bishop. He saw him on the crossing pass. That's a tough pass to hit. He knows that. So what does he do? He aerial pass. It's almost like quarterback just kind of dropping one in there to his receiver. You just put it into an area and you try to let your forward get there in time. So Bishop just kind of floated one out and was trying to connect with Caruso, the freshman. It was close. It was close.
It was as close as it can be.
They called the offsides. We won't argue too much with the ref, but
I feel like the referees, when that happens, they always err on the side of calling the offsides.
I would agree.
Hanging the team out to dry.
Yeah, I would agree.
That type of bad call, but
maybe we get that on the replay and see if we can. The eye in the sky can help us out. But regardless, still a nice play there. The freshman able to connect with the senior defenseman.
Tanner Zakarowicz fighting for it. He's got it right out in front, and a big blast from Brendan McDonough is off the mark.
We got to give the refs credit. Now, if it was truly a good call, I want to make sure. We don't want to be, impartial. If it was a good call and indeed it was offsides, we'll find out, and we'll let you know.
That'll be icing on UMass Boston as the Beacons see this one touched up by Hauk first.
But I think what's happening here, John, is from a coaching perspective and really from a team perspective, overall, UMass Dartmouth just hasn't had a lot of answers. We're sitting up here, and it's been a solid hockey game. I mean, by no means is this a blowout. It's 3-0, a little late in the second period. Beacons have definitely dominated in a few areas, but I wouldn't call it a blowout. I just don't see the UMass Dartmouth team generating much offensively. They seem to be on their heels a lot today and don't really have an answer for the speed at which UMass plays. UMass Boston, I should say.
Baldino can't win the face-off, and now here comes UMass Boston. Here comes Keene. Dakota scores! Dakota Keene's first collegiate goal, and the Beacons have put 4 on the board on the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs. It's 4-0 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Not from North Dakota, not from South Dakota, from Portland, Maine. Dakota Keene was able to find that down the wing at good speed. How about the kid? Coming down the wing, was able to tuck it just underneath the glove. Was able to beat Michaels, 4-0 lead, and we want to make sure you save that puck.
Absolutely. That was a heck of a shot as
First Gino for the kid.
Keene delivers for UMass Boston.
It's always good, and you see the guys on the bench, they're bumping shoulders. Anytime you got a guy getting his first collegiate goal, you feel good about it. Regardless, that one was pretty. Some of them are a little bit, greasers, as they say, in front of the net. That one was a nice one, and Keene with a good shot down the wing. Good speed, good release.
Whenever we get to a point where it's 3, 4, 5-0, you start to think, who's going to be our player of the game? Who are we going to have on for an interview? That'd be a pretty good candidate, a freshman from Maine, Dakota Keene.
Throw him in the spotlight. We'll have to see. Maybe he can get a couple more for us.
Of course, if Bustard pitches a shutout, no matter
you said
happens.
it.
Oh, I did it again, didn't I?
You said it.
I did it again.
Oh, my God.
For those who, we have a lot of, obviously, freshman parents, as that one careens towards the side. Great save made by the netminder Michael on a short side blast from the near side dot by Mason.
Yeah, that was a heavy shot.
It was.
You want to explain why I'm so disappointed?
I do, because last year there was a game where Billy Faust had a shutout, about 5 minutes left in the third period, and I mentioned it. And
you did.
A former goalie and,
Crushing.
Superstitious goalies usually are. Matt Meisenbacher said, I can't believe you said it. What was there, probably like 20 seconds left, less than a minute, they scored.
It was bad.
Yeah, Beacon still won.
Curses are meant to be broken, though. I just asked the Cubs.
Absolutely, although ask the Indians fan what he thinks about curses.
True.
Up 3-1. Here's Albie Daly, drops it to the far side. There's an opportunity. Bishop centers it in front, and a chance for Wickline to get his first collegiate goal as well, but denied by the netminder Michael.
That area, that's a soft spot. In UMass Dartmouth, that's a soft spot. That slot area, really by the tops of the circles, and then just by the hash marks in the slot, has been open all day.
Opportunity now as Shea comes all the way in, and his high-rising shot really didn't have much of a chance. Gobbled up there by Bustard.
And that's what we were talking about with the UMass defensive core, just keeping things on the perimeter, not allowing anything towards the slot, allowing Bustard to see the puck well and play the angle, get in a nice position, make the save. He's had a pretty relaxing day. I've seen him make some nice stops. He had that kick save in the first period that I think was probably his best thus far, but solid game so far for the freshman.
UMass Boston leads 4-0 with 3.5 minutes to go in the second period of play. Beacons would love to put up a high-five spot here before they head into the second. As Mason, fighting for possession, takes control. Although right now, there's a lot of candidates for player of the game, as looking to notch his name in that category would have been Sifferlin, who would have notched his second career goal. He had one against Curry already. That one,
another one
careens in off of Sifferlin, but off of Michael as well. Drew Gannon, a candidate for player of the game. He's got a couple of goals, came close to a hat trick already.
And we got a whole nother period.
Yeah.
Very TBD at this point.
Who knows what could happen as the Beacons see this one dumped all the way in. No icing. As taking control of it there was Scarbeck. Beacons good, aggressive forecheck as usual, keeping it in as that one sails wide from the stick of UMass Boston's John Regnar, as this one careening towards the near side wall and out of harm's way. Motoring forward now is Tanner Zakarowicz. That one sent along the end boards. Pinching in is Kyle Zakarowicz, as Tanner and Kyle, the two brothers, one wearing 5, one wearing 15. Beacons get possession, and Tim Murphy finds Shuckran, who's able to at least get it to the red line, where it's intercepted by Scarbeck. Big hit there by Murphy. Murphy's Law, if you will.
Yeah, second or third big hit he's had today. Seems to be maybe perhaps a little inclination towards the enforcer, collegiate enforcer role.
That's why he's on that yellow line as a freshman. I think if nothing else, it's going to give him the experience to really develop when he becomes an upperclassman into a fantastic two-way player. As an opportunity for a bad angle and a great save by Bustard.
That's a good one there. Good save, saw it late.
And then Zakarowicz gets down and dirty in the Beacons crease.
And I'm glad Regnard's saying something to the ref right now. I really am, because he took a lot of damage. He was getting worked in the corner. I saw a couple cross checks. I saw at least one where there's a little bit of head contact, not with the elbow, just a little bit with the glove. And I'm glad you don't have to make it a big thing with the refs, but you let them know, hey, I took that one there. Can you keep an eye? He took a lot of damage in the corner there, didn't take a penalty, made his point to the ref, back to the bench. It's what you like to see.
UMass Boston leads it 4-0. Just 98 seconds left here in the second period of play. Baldino will take the face-off against Larkin for the Beacons as Larkin wins it back to Bishop. Far side as Lindsay will sail it up and into the UMass Boston bench. Or they're going to say they're going to blow whistle because it was in the catwalks, even though it was very close to being in play. So we have about 90 seconds left in the second. Beacons scored 2 in the first and since scored 2 here in the second. They've looked pretty good on really every facet of the ice, but you know what? The Corsairs are not going to be their toughest competition that they have to play. They still got Babson. They still have Norwich. Some tough foes in this conference. How does this team look so far, and do you think that they can compete yet again for an NEHC title?
You know, it's early to tell. I think there's some things that I like, and they have some players that can play, but it's just the Beacons have done a really good job managing the game today. They've limited the amount of chances that UMass Dartmouth has been able to create, and it's tough to say from a UMass Dartmouth perspective. Just haven't seen a lot of offense, and I think it's mainly because the Beacons have done such a good job in terms of managing this game. They're not really allowing much room for error, especially with some of the younger players.
We'll see if those younger players show those growing pains as the season goes on. 68 seconds left. Face-off won by Larkin and kept in by the Beacons. Nice play made by Gallagher as that shot came and bounced just wide from the stick of Daly. Larkin behind the net looking for some help. Instead, the defense fell asleep right in front, almost poked in on their own goal by the visiting Corsairs as UMass Dartmouth starting to get sloppy. That was Mason Nichols.
This line does a fantastic job of cycling the puck, and it creates so many opportunities. You see, here's another one, another save. That one go in?
Ooh. You can see Michael thought it got behind him.
He did. Close. Daly was whacking at it. But you see, all these opportunities are created off the cycling down low. It starts in the corner and behind the net, and this line does a fantastic job of cycling, and then one player will leak out into the slot. They'll connect on that pass for a shot on goal. We've seen that throughout the day. It's their number one called play for this line is doing exactly that, and it's worked for them.
We should get some players mic'd up for some of these rivalry games. There's a quick blast. Great save by Michael as letting her rip was Tyler Sifferlin. He's been snake bitten today.
He has. He's had a couple opportunities and definitely getting his shots. I think, we're starting to see 32 seconds here, and looks like UMass Dartmouth just wants to get this to the locker room and get out of here. But Beacons are doing a great job. Want to see the face-off totals. Wouldn't be surprised. I think the Beacons are going to be up by considerable amount. They seem to want a significant portion of them today.
Skating over the puck. Bad play there was Mike Sones. He had a chance to go on an odd man rush the other way. Now the Beacons have it, keeping it in momentarily, and now here comes the odd man rush. Oh, beautiful pass. Is able to find Mike Kelly. What a pass for Sones on a feed from Shea, but he was unable to find him.
First mistake I've seen from the UMass defense today, and it almost cost them. That puck could have easily gone in the back of the net on that 3-on-2.
To the point, that one deflected, and a good save by Bustard as the puck was deflected by Mike Sones. And now a whistle as the period comes to an end. Drew Gannon took the last hit there and the bad run of that one.
Yeah, that was a tough hit. He's all right. He's skating off. These players are tough, but that was a big hit.
So we're through 40 minutes of play here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, and as expected, Beacons off to a good start here in 2016-17. They lead it 4-0 after 2. And Matt, as you look back at this period, they got it done on the power play, they got it done shorthanded, and they got it done even strength. They've looked pretty good in every facet of the game. And for you, what are your overall impressions so far?
Yeah, you know what, John? It's surprisingly quiet for the home opener. 4-0. There's a good amount of fans here today. It's surprisingly quiet, and I think I attributed that to what I just mentioned before, is the overall management of the game from UMass Boston. We haven't seen much from UMass Dartmouth just based on the fact that systematically UMass has been wearing them down, breaking them down slowly but surely. Here you have a 4-0 game, and again, the Beacons have dominated in a few categories, but time of possession being probably the number one. But it's been a systematic breakdown, a systematic beatdown of this Corsairs team, and I think that's a credit to the coaching staff, quite honestly, at UMass, who have clearly done a great job in preparing these, particularly younger players, not only for the home opener, but for the start of the season.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, not only the top line, which has been fantastic, and we've sung their praises, but the youth on the yellow line has been very evident, not only in some of the mistakes they may or may not have made, but the speed and the air to their legs. Dakota Keene had a breakaway in this period where he almost got his first career goal. I haven't seen anybody skate that fast in quite some time. Looking at the freshmen, who sticks out to you? Sifferlin, Keene, what really looks the best to you so far?
I'm going to shift it off the forwards and take a look at the D. I've seen some really good things. They've made Bustard's night relatively easy tonight. And, you look, obviously, the top two guys, Mason and Bishop, they're going to lead the way. But guys like Carter, Regnart, Chukrin, and Gallagher, a lot of these guys played together in junior. They know each other well. Don't forget, they're only sophomores, the majority of these kids. Besides the two top seniors, the rest are sophomores. So not a ton of experience to go on. And I think they've done a really nice job tonight of making life relatively easy for their goaltender.
In his 11th season as coach of the UMass Boston Beacons, Peter Belisle has seen a lot of players come and go. And he hopes that this freshman class can come and go with a few championships in their in the notches in their belt. So right now, as we move forward here in the second period intermission, let's take a look back at the captain's season preview as the UMass Boston Beacons trying to defend their New England Hockey Conference championship, lead it 4-0 over the Dartmouth Corsairs. That's up next, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Just in the fact that last year coming in, I knew all the guys that were returners. I was really comfortable with the group, and we had a smaller group of freshmen, so with a smaller group coming in, it was easy for me to get to know those guys, really early on and train with them, a week before even school started. So from the moment we stepped on the ice, I felt comfortable last year with everything, in terms of our personnel and our team top to bottom. And this year differs a little bit in the sense that there's 12 freshmen that myself and the other captains and the rest of the upperclassmen have had to kind of groom into our system. So, I think this preseason was a little bit different, like I said, just in terms of developing these guys into, Beacon hockey players and telling them from an early point, the prestige that this program now carries and trying to get that into their heads that it always hasn't been that way. And we want to keep it that way.
Obviously last year we had a great run, ended in the Frozen Four, but, we have pretty much a completely different team. We lost 9 or 10 guys last year and we brought in like 12. So it's a completely different feel, and us as captains, we have to drill that into their heads that it's a new season, and we still got to prove that we're the best in this league. Being picked first in the conference, obviously every night we're gonna have the target on our back, get everyone's best every night. So obviously we gotta be ready for that and prepare during the week, during practice, and give it our best shot on the weekend.
I think, we did lose a lot of guys. Matt Lemire, All-American first-team guy, a lot of points. Frankie DeAugustine, some big players. I think our focus this year is we have a different team. It's a new year. I think we're going to have guys step up. I know I'm going to have to step up offensively. Albie Daly, our captain, and then, some of our freshmen, we're going to put big roles on them on the power play and some other stuff. So we really need a group effort to offensively to kind of match what we did last year, and I don't know if we'll score as many goals as last year, even the year before, but I know defensively we're going to be much better. Or we have the same defense coming back, so that'll be huge for us. But I think it's going to have to be a group effort offensively.
We have a lot of great defensemen coming back. We lost obviously Andrew Crawford, who was a big part of our team last year, but Dante Servadini's come in. He's looked really good in preseason, and we have 8 or 9 really good defensemen that could play any night. So it'll be a battle to see who gets in for the entire season. Yeah, obviously ever since I've been here, it's been Zach and Billy as the 2 goalies. So it's a little bit of a transition to a couple new guys, but so far in the preseason they've looked really good. Obviously it'll be a battle to see who the starter is, and that'll continue out throughout the entire year.
In the preseason, we saw a lot from different guys. The freshmen, Redler and Sifferlin, those kind of guys. Kuzin, we need those guys step up offensively. They're coming in, they're going to be playing big minutes for us. And then guys like McGregor and Gannon have, picked up their game from last year, and that we should see a little bit more from them. I think offensively, those guys, they're going to be we're going to need more from them this year. And, you know, guys like Gannon and McGregor, they're going to have to carry their line as centermen and kind of fill those shoes a little bit more too.
I think the best part about having in-practice battles and, you know, constant in and out of the lineup, guys coming in, guys leaving, I think it keeps things very competitive, both, you know, in games to perform at your best and in practice to bring it every day, both upperclassmen and underclassmen alike. So I think, you know, that's not a bad problem to have when you have so many guys that could play on a day-to-day basis. So if anything, I just think it keeps it more competitive, and I think it actually brings us closer as a team to have guys competing, you know, day in and day out and continuously giving it their all throughout practice and games.
Yeah, it's huge. Really excited. I know I have family coming from out of town, already excited for that game. It'll be a lot of excitement, a lot of energy around that game, especially being against Babson. You know, that's a rivalry game. You know, I think as it gets closer, it'll kind of hit us more, and we'll be ready to go for that one. Hopefully it's not too cold, you know, so the weather holds up a little bit.
The only expectations now for us are to, you know, first to win the league, obviously, and then go from there. But I think right now, going into the year, our biggest goal is to win our conference and get back to that driver's seat that we were in last year, and hopefully we take care of business in the regular season and we can have home ice again. But you know, right now we're just trying to tell the guys to take it one step at a time. You know, to win our first game, we're focusing on Curry, and then we go from there, from that point on, and build from that point.
And here come the Beacons, 3-on-2. Knockbar takes a shot and snatched out of the about going D to D. Instead, he will dump it to the far side. What a one-timer! He scores! Drew Gannon, 2 for the Prices-y. And, ooh, a big hit at neutral line with Larkin and Wickline. Daly finds Larkin right in front. What
a nice pat on it. There's a turnover.
Gannon looking for the hat trick. Oh, what a save! Michael off, and now here comes UMass Boston. Here comes Keene. Dakota scores! Dakota Keene's first collegiate goal. And the Beacons have put 4 on the board on the UMass Dartmouth. John Scudras back here in the broadcasting booth. UMass Boston leads their rivals from Dartmouth 4-0 as the Beacons are ahead of the Corsairs. Just 20 minutes to go in regulation time. You just saw the highlights of the second period. Let's take a look at the statistics as the Beacons out shooting the Corsairs 41-14 in this matchup. 37 saves by Drew Michael, the netminder for the visiting Dartmouth Corsairs. 14 saves on 14 shots for Bustard, as Jordan has been strong in his home debut. Matt Meisenbacher talked about the face-offs. He thought the Beacons would be dominating, and they are, 33-18, so they've won 33 of 51. The Beacons are 2 for 3 on the power play, as both teams have had 3 opportunities with the extra attacker. Their penalty kill has been stellar as well, limiting the Corsairs to no goals on 2 shots on 3 power plays. As we continue along here on the intermission, let's take a look around Beaconville. And earlier today, the women's hockey team defeated Southern Maine 4-2. They improved to 3-1 overall and 2-0 rather in the Little East Conference, or I should say the New England Hockey Conference, as things changing up rapidly. Meanwhile, in the Little East Conference, women's volleyball won their second consecutive tournament championship, beating Plymouth State by a final of 3-0. And later tonight, in the Little East Conference, the men's soccer will try to win another championship as well, as the number 1 seeded Beacons host the number 2 seeded Rhode Island College Anchormen. That'll be right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, beginning just before 7 p.m. As we take a look at the New England Hockey Conference scoreboard, we update that as the day goes along. New England College leading Castleton 1-0 after 2. Skidmore is up on St. Anselm 2-0 after 2. Southern Maine triumphing over St. Michael's 3-1 at the end of 2. And also after 2, Norwich leads Daniel Webster 5-1. And Plymouth State ahead of Babson 3-2 after 2. That's a bit of a surprise as the Panthers lead the Beavers from Babson. So as you take a look at that, Matt, right now Norwich, not surprising, on top. But that Babson score, a little bit surprising. They're struggling.
You know what? And who do they lose? Jamie Murray. He's playing the AHL right now. Something to be said for having a strong goaltender. Babson starting the season against the grain, let's say. Already 0-1-1, I believe, and 9th, I think, or you see there, 11th in the country. Definitely a team Plymouth State last year they would have handled. So we'll see. Early in the year, subject to change, obviously, and the game's not over. It's only after 2, but definitely surprising that it's Plymouth State with the lead and not Babson.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at what's ahead for the UMass Boston Beacons. Looking ahead, they'll be taking on Castleton next week right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I'll have that call along with Mizey. You'll be here, right?
I should be, yeah.
Good stuff. And then a week later, Daniel Webster will be here from Edward T. Barry Ice Rink and on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. And then a day after that, that's going to be Friday and Saturday, Southern Maine and the Huskies make the trip down south to visit the Beacons. That one beginning at 4 p.m. I'll be in Seattle for that weekend's game, so I won't be here. You'll be hearing the sweet serenading tones of Matt Meisenbacher as the Beacons and Southern Maine Huskies get set to go. We are almost set to go for the third period, Matt. Why don't you wrap things up here?
They say Saturdays are for the boys. Well, Saturdays are for the Beacons too. And nice win. I want to give a quick shout out to the women's volleyball team.
Yep.
Solid win today.
See a couple of them here have come to
good
Julia
support.
Murphy down there.
Good
Liz
support.
Blavin.
Yeah, they came to the game. They're supporting their fellow Beaks. But definitely a good day to be in Beaconville. Now, 2 games left. Obviously, men want to finish up here, up 4-0. And then we've got men's soccer with a big one today. They're playing, I forget who, but big game at home. That's going to follow this one.
Rhode Island College. The
That's
Anchormen
right.
make the trip north. And
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game. It's Championship Saturday, as Alex Carazado to my left reminded me. It's a huge Saturday every year. I feel like the hockey teams begin their home schedule. And then, of course, the volleyball and the men's soccer team are always
busy time.
Like competitive for their
Seth
division.
and Dave running around wild around here. But back to the subject at hand. Obviously, third period coming up here for the Beacons. I think something you want to look out for. Obviously, you mentioned one of the biggest parts we're going to be looking for, the goaltending side for the Beacons. Hopefully, can keep that 0 up there. But from a forward standpoint, and some of these guys, you got to keep in mind. Again, I keep going back to it, but the learning curve. I mean, it's a long season in a lot of ways, and I think the more ice time these guys can get now, where it's not on the line, you don't have your backs against the wall, so to speak, it pays dividends further along in the season. So look for, I'm not going to go ahead and tell you he's going to float the freshmen out there each and every time, but I think we'll see Coach Blyle giving them maybe a little bit more leeway than he normally would, because you'd rather learn from your mistakes now in a game that you really have kind of dominated versus a game that maybe is tied or you're down going into the third period.
Absolutely. We're going to go to a commercial break for 30 seconds. When we come back, the opening face-off of the third period right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university.
We are all set for the opening face-off of this third period. Face-off won by the UMass Boston Beacons. They are moving left to right. The Corsairs of Dartmouth right to left.
The most common theme for this Beacon squad over the past, I don't know, let's call it at least 2, maybe 3 years has been their shot totals. John, how many games have we done where their end count is in the 40s, 50s, or 60s?
A lot, and they already have 41 heading into the third period here, as here come the Corsairs the other way. Top line for them, and great poke check as offsides is the call, but Tyler Bishop was aware on defense.
Be intriguing to see if UMD changes things up here. They really have not had much offensively all game. They've made life pretty easy on the goaltender, the freshman goaltender for the Beacons. And let's see, strategically if they change things up, maybe fly a guy out of the zone just to generate something here and test the youngster down the other end.
As the Beacons lose the face-off, getting deep into his own zone there and almost creating a bit of an issue. Was number 26 Caruso, rather 28 Kuzin. And there is Kuzin with possession. And losing it as being able to get it out of harm's way was Nichols. And eventually it is sent all the way down. And they call icing, but Bustard touched the puck.
Yeah, got one there. That's all right.
That's the problem with the no-touch icing, is that the referee didn't know when to whistle. I mean, Chukrin did beat his man there.
Yeah.
Regardless, 18:58 to go. They're actually just going to put it at center ice. So
probably a good call.
No advantage either way. It's Gannon taking on Baldino, as this one is dumped in. Around the horn it goes. Chasing after it is John Hoyk, but the Beacons able to poke it away. Caruso. Instead, Gannon's poke check is off the mark, and tumbling into the sideboards was one of the Corsairs as it's dumped all the way in by Carter. From a bad angle, Caruso just careens it around the end boards. Gannon pinching in, comes all the way out to the red line where Gallagher dumps it in. Michael now settles it down. Taking possession is John Hauk, and intercepting that on a good play for UMass Boston was Caruso. Here's Lindsay with McGregor, fudding Hauk, and eventually it is going to be cleared by the Corsairs. Beacons have no problem playing in the attacking zone right now, up 4-0. Even if they don't get any scoring opportunities, they'll be fine milking the clock away from Bustard's net, as this shot is a rising blast from McGregor that was shouldered away by the netminder.
This is kind of what we've seen. This is a small example of what we've seen all game. Just a lot of time for UMass Dartmouth in their defensive zone, and shift after shift, UMass continues to pressure, not necessarily generating grade A opportunities all the time, but just making life extremely difficult on the Corsairs to really generate any type of time in the offensive zone.
Lindsay collides with a forward for the Corsairs. That was Cooley. As this one is dumped towards Cooley, knocks it down, and eventually sent wide by Tanner Zakharowicz. Bishop sends it off the sideboard to be sent all the way in by Miller.
Interesting development here. It looks like, I think that's McGregor over there talking to the training staff. He seems to be headed to the locker room. Not quite sure what happened. He had just had a shot on goal a little bit earlier, maybe tweaked something, and he's headed to the locker room right now. We'll keep you posted. It doesn't look too serious. He's on his own merit, but definitely worth updating you as he comes back and returns.
Yeah, he's out of the game, heading to the locker room. Beacons lead at 4-0, so you can afford to maybe allow him to take the rest of the day off. Opportunity now for a cross-ice feed. That's denied on the pass there by Wickline. He was looking for Daly. There's a blast denied there off the blast from the point by number 25, John Regnart. Now here come the Corsairs, dumping it all the way in. There was Tanner Zakharowicz. His brother Kyle was the one slapping his stick on the ice, trying to get his brother's attention. So UMass Boston in their own zone. Chukrin leaves it, and motoring forward was Larkin. He turns the puck over, but luckily Chukrin was home to clean things up. Sends it off the sideboards. Daly drops it for Larkin out there with Wickline. Larkin around the horn he comes, keeps possession in front for Wickline. Another chance for Chukrin, blocked out. And luckily for the Beacons, Regnart was home to clean things up.
Good moves there by Larkin. He was able to find that again. He's been doing it all day. And you take it out of the corner behind the net, look for something in the slot, just wasn't able to connect that time.
About 4 minutes into this one, Larkin shoulders off a hit that the attempt was laid on by Patrick Wren. Larkin still had control, but then loses it. And now here comes Jerry Laxo. Laxo turns it over just across the blue line. Wickline chasing after it. Knocking it down is Gallagher, taking the hit and absorbing the pressure to get it to Wickline was Gallagher. And now Carter will fist it forward to be taken there by Kuzin. Gannon has it looking for a hat trick, and that one, ooh, it ate up the netminder Michael, but a quick whistle yet again as Kuzin was bearing down.
Yeah, puck dropped a little bit at the end there. Whistle was already blown, but solid shot there by Gannon, as you mentioned, looking for the hat trick. had 2 pretty decent goals today, I'd say. First one was pretty solid.
The second one was almost better. The one-time blast from right in front, right off the crossbar and in.
Seems to have the touch. Let's see if they can feed him, maybe find the third.
Not every day you see talent from the Lone Star State of his level, and the Beacons picked up another one. Cody Wickline from Flower Mound, Texas. Something about Texas. It's become a pipeline state for Peter Belisle.
Untapped talent, finding a way to get those boys, and obviously junior hockey, the expansion of the game. Dallas Stars down there, and they've been a solid organization, and clearly the talent has followed.
As here's Gannon looking for 3. He comes all the way in, and then he lets the puck go into the corner. Good recovery, though, to chip it along. As this one comes back to the point, Gallagher shot, rebound to the far side. Oh, kicked away by Michael on the shot from Ryan Kuzin.
A couple good stops there by Michaels, and this is the hardest part as a goaltender. You know, I'll get to it as the Beacons continue to pressure here.
Carter's shot gobbled up by Michael, and as you were saying.
Yeah, it's just tough. You know, you're in a position, you're down 4-0. You know that, in all likelihood, the Beacons aren't going to stop shooting the puck. You're trying to preserve as much statistical dignity as you possibly can here, and it's been really all UMass all day. It's just a tough spot to be in as a goaltender when you know probably not going to turn out in your favor.
4-0, Beacons lead. Face-off 1, quick blast. Lindsay deflected in front on an aggressive stick play made by Dakota Keene. So the line's changed up a little bit as Keene out there with Lindsay and Caruso as opposed to McGregor because of, as you said, McGregor back in the locker room.
We'll keep you posted. Haven't seen him return, but again, he left on his own merit, so I don't think it's anything that serious. Usually, if it's a serious injury, there's someone supporting, or there's a training staff member with him. He was on his own, so should be back shortly.
Dakota Keene using all of his 6-foot body for a hit there. That one was blocked down in front by Dakota Keene. Great effort today for Dakota Keene as he continues to play splendid in just his second collegiate game. Now here's an opportunity. Caruso avoids the hit, avoids another nice move. Caruso shot and a save by Michael on a blast from the slot.
Oh, the freshman, Caruso. That's something there. Couple moves from the kid, I believe from Long Island, New York, Port Washington, and a couple moves there. Was able to navigate his way past 2 UMass Dartmouth players to eventually take that shot on goal. Unfortunately, it was directly into the chest of the goaltender Michaels, but nice couple moves there regardless.
So the Beacons leading 4-0 have maintained their aggressive nature here into the third period. They have their top line out there, or at least they have Colin Larkin out there. Murphy is also on the ice, along with Ryan Kuzin. So they're splitting things up now with McGregor out. And tumbling down is Murphy, but still making a good effort to get it all the way in. Kuzin applies the check with possession, Mason Nichols, as this one is sent to the near side, and that allows Brendan McDonough to move up with the Zakharowitzes. Here is Kyle backhanding it for Tanner behind the net. Now Kyle almost lost an edge, and now he does recover and holds on control. Jockeyed for possession by John Regnart, and eventually it's sent into the near side dot where McDonough loses possession on a deflected puck. Another toe drag for the Beacons, and there's Murphy. Murphy into the attacking zone, smartly just wraps it all the way around the net. Gannon's somehow going to become the first man to get there, and he pokes it through just enough, but Laxo cleans things up, and a turnover in neutral ice yet again for the Corsairs of UMass Dartmouth. Here's Albie Daly with Wickline and Gannon. I like this line just for the moment with the way Gannon's been playing. No one home on the far side point as it trickles over the blue line for Carter to blast it home. Gannon's shot deflected, and Daly smartly lets up, or else he would have been on the butt end of that hit. Meanwhile, the Beacons in neutral territory see Wickline chip it forward. It is over center ice, as keeping this one and moving forward and getting hit into the boards was number 15, Kyle Zakharowitz. Ooh, that was a big blast into the gut of Bustard, coming from the stick of John Houck, the defender. And with 11.5 to go, the Beacons move through neutral ice. Albie Daly's got his partner in crime, Wickline, who takes the shot right into the chest of Michael for a face-off.
It's just been a slow, systematic beatdown, really, of the UMass Dartmouth team. I mean, the talent level is one thing, but I've seen throughout the day, UMass Boston, on the other hand, has done an extremely good job in all three zones, defensive, neutral, and offensive, to really, play the role that they're supposed to be playing. They're not trying to do too much, and that's why they have this 4-0 lead.
Bishop, nifty move, and then he almost set up an odd man rush the other way, but he cleaned it, mistake up. And right out in front, how did that not get through? The hole in front there, that was taken by Tyler Sifferlin. All day long, Sifferlin's been around the puck.
He has. We've seen him. He's had his chances. Now, he obviously hasn't found the back of the net just yet, but no need for him to panic. Definitely going to come. He's seen his fair share of opportunities today, and you saw there, almost was able to trickle that one past Michaels right along the goal line there, almost stuffed it home.
And Michael dives out of the net and corrals that puck. 11:03 to go, third period of play.
And you look at the face-offs here, and pretty sizable in terms of a lead there for UMass. I don't know, maybe we could pull that up at some point, but definitely dominating the face-off category today, and another check plus for them.
Bishop's shot is blocked down in front. And out there now is Keene with Knockbauer. And replacing Murphy on this shift is Sifferlin, as Murphy is moved up to play with Larkin and Gannon, as that one is in the breadbasket of the netminder Bustard. 10:45 to go. Finally an offensive zone faceoff for the Corsairs. Feels like it's been a while.
It has. And routine stop there by Bustard. 10:45 here. He's played well and made the saves that he was asked to make thus far.
Shea is out there with Kelly and Sones, but the Beacons win the faceoff and get it out of harm's way. Dumped all the way in. Caruso centered in front, unable to find Lindsay. As here come the Corsairs. Nice move to avoid the hit there by Shea, but he does turn it over.
Nice pass.
Here come the Beacons. Caruso's shot, and that one deflected up into the netting.
And that's the thing. You saw the turnover there, UMass Dartmouth. They just haven't had an answer for it. As soon as they make that initial breakout pass, they're faced with at least two, sometimes three forwards. There's nowhere to go. And they haven't had an answer for how to beat that today. They've generated a lot of turnovers, the Beacons have, by pressuring those forwards and forcing them to make plays that they don't want to make. And that's a lot of the reason you've seen. So a nice save there. Another shot from Caruso. But that's a big reason you have a 4-0 lead here late in the third.
Lindsay went down fighting for possession, and now it is cleared out of harm's way by Eckelmeyer. Ooh, onside they said for the moment, but then a late whistle does blow it offsides as Baldino was screaming in on Bustard.
Yeah, it's what you mentioned before, stretch pass like that, and I believe it was it Chukrin there that got beat? I wasn't quite sure, 20-something. I think it was Chukrin, 27, who was beat on the play, but offsides, and no harm, no foul.
Still 4-0. UMass Boston on top. Colin Larkin wins the faceoff with a little help from Wickline as the Beacons have it in their own zone. As Albie Daly gets it from Larkin, takes the hit, and eventually it's sent back into the Beacon zone. Gallagher turns it over. It's dumped behind the net. Carter fighting for possession down there, is able to beat him out to the puck was Connor Court, and now count goes Court. We'll get a penalty coming on up as the Beacons will go shorthanded. I believe they'll say it was high sticking.
Well, here's your update. Connor McGregor is back, and unfortunately, folks, he's in street clothes. Not sure what happened and what he's dealing with. He is talking to Ed Perkins, the head trainer, right now. They're discussing whatever they're discussing. It doesn't seem to be too serious. There's no crutches, and there's a slight, maybe a slight limp. He is going back now. Looks like they're going to send him back with the doctor, but looks like Conor McGregor's night is done. He's got his hat on. He's in street clothes, and whatever he's dealing with, maybe just tweak something. And with a 4-0 lead, no need to press, no need to make it any worse. But he is dealing with something, folks, and hopefully maybe we find out, John, in the post game what that is.
The Beacons will have to make do for the final 9:30 without David McGregor. They are short-handed, or rather they are on the power. Honestly, I can't figure it out because the Beacons have the puck. They're shorthanded.
They are shorthanded.
They have control in the attacking zone.
Yeah.
They are shorthanded, up 4-0. The Corsairs have just been so meager offensively, and there it goes again, dumped all the way down. Peter Belisle, after this game, when I talked to him, he's always the type to not be too enthused and not show enthusiasm, but I really think he's got to be happy with the way the team played today.
He'll be happy. You know, my guess, I don't want to speak for the man, but my guess is he'll have some areas that he knows need to be improved, and let's not, let's take it with a grain of salt as we have a turnover here, breakaway.
And it is a breakaway, an opportunity for Caruso. He scores! The first career goal for the Port Washington, New York native. Derek Caruso delivers, and UMass Boston, a short-handed goal, has taken a 5-0 lead.
A shorty for the freshman. His first goal. We've been mentioning him today. He's looked good. He's been around the puck. We've seen him with multiple shots on goal today, and there you see the short-handed breakaway. John, I wonder, in the history, right, this might be a question for Seth. Maybe you can get it to us. In the history of UMass Boston, how many first collegiate goals were short-handed goals as well? Probably few.
Yeah, I would say you probably counted on one hand.
Probably few. So a nice way for the freshman to get his, and obviously on the breakaway was able to navigate right around Michaels and score his first. And so 5-0 now, Beacons. Discussing something here. Not quite sure what.
It was a backhander on a breakaway for Caruso, his first career goal. And UMass Boston has put up 5. We're going to get a penalty coming up here on the Corsairs.
That was interesting. I'm not quite sure. Perhaps after the whistle. Refs are now talking to UMass Dartmouth. They seem to be pretty upset. So
they put 2 minutes up on the scoreboard. A penalty on the Corsairs. Of course, since it was a shorthanded goal, the Beacons would still have been shorthanded.
Right.
And now this will even things up 4-4, and then the Beacons will have about a minute of power play time.
And good vibes. I always like bringing the folks at home, telling you look at the bench, you see what's going on. It seems to be pretty shoulder bumping and a couple laughs. Seems to be pretty relaxed on the bench, which is good. Obviously being up 5-0 and not a high stretch situation, but still something to play for here. Still got something in terms of your goaltender. Who's played well today. You want to continue, not to back off entirely. It's still something to be had.
You see, you say it without saying it. I guess that's fine. I just come out and say it.
The subtleties. Read between the lines.
Right now it's 4-on-4 as the Beacons lead it 5-0. Larkin just goes right through 2 sticks. And now here comes all the way in. Toe drag around the defense. Pulls up. As the Beacons are 4-on-4. They will have a power play for about 56 seconds. In 29 seconds. From the far side, Daly. He fought with 2 defensemen. He couldn't win that battle. As motoring forward, losing it was Zakarowicz, and Kyle dumps it all the way around. Mason Nichols pinching in.
Heads up.
And now the Beacons have possession moving forward. And Bishop decides to just pull it back because he knows in 3 seconds he'll have a power play.
Smart play.
Daly couldn't handle that one, unfortunately, and that'll allow the Corsairs to play around with it and dump it all the way down to the left of the netminder. Bustard, who's going to have to cover things up. And smart play by Bustard.
Yeah, good play there.
He pulled it away from the defense, but didn't cover it up, and now Gannon moving forward. Gannon looking for a hat trick, and his shot is blocked, and he might have whiffed on it. Comes back to the point. A blast in front, a pass attempt there by Regnard. Unable to get that one was UMass Boston's Tyler Sifferlin as it's dumped into the right of the netminder Michael and swatted all the way down to the red line. 18 seconds left on the power play. Here's Drew Gannon. Drops it back to the point. Teeing it up, then holding off, and then dropping it back down was Regnard. As with 5 seconds to go, the power play will come to an end, and Chukrin will head back to protect his own net because of that. And now eventually Laxo sends it all the way down where Gabe Chukrin was waiting just across the red line. Gabe just skates right through the defense, near side wall. And he'll find a man back at the point, teeing that one up and ripping it home was Regnard. But a gobbled up save there by Michael. with 6:30 to go.
He's got a heavy shot there, Regnard, and was able to tee that one up. Good find from Chukrin. Did a great job he did of protecting the puck there. He had a guy all over him, but used his big frame to protect the puck. Found Regnard at the point, his D partner, and was able to smash that thing. Michaels with a good save, and he's had a busy night, John, and a lot of shots. And obviously, scoreboard dictates where we stand, but Michaels has been busy.
UMass Boston kicking off their home campaign, and the attempts to defend their NEHC championship have begun strong as another good save pinching up against the post by the netminder Bustard, as he showed positioning was strong on that one. Didn't get away from the post. As you see, sometimes young goalies, they can try to anticipate the puck coming across, moving laterally.
Yeah, and he keeps his chest up. You know, there's a tendency when the puck's low and in front of you to slouch a little bit. You lean forward, almost anticipating the shot, and actually it takes away from the actual, your ability to maintain your size, to maintain how big you are on the net. As you saw there, Bustard was able to keep his shoulders square to the puck and upright, which allowed him to make that save on the post.
Last couple of years, we've gotten used to great goaltending from Billy Faust and Zach Andrews.
We've had a bunch.
Matt Meisenbacher, one of the
couple
few.
couple games I was in there. Yeah, I fair share.
He had his moments.
Hey man, I've got a collegiate shutout, and I hang my hat on that. You know, that's about it.
That's how you know I wasn't broadcasting that game, right?
Exactly.
Gallagher gets it behind the net, comes near side, cross ice feed from Wickline as Carter at least got it to the red line. This is dumped all the way back in. 5 and change to go here in the third period of play, and barring a Herculean comeback, the Beacons will win their home opener and will improve to 2-0. Lindsay fighting for it, lost it, and it's dumped back around for Carter.
And with 5 minutes left here, you're in the final quarter piece of the third period, and there's a tendency now this late in the game where you get a little bit off. You see there, a pass behind, you get a little bit off because you know you've got the high percentage chance of winning at this point, and would hate to see that translate into a potential Corsairs goal at this point in the game. You don't want to back off. Keep doing what you're doing systematically. No high risk plays. 3 guys back.
Beacons in their own zone now for much of the last minute or so. And now Bustard's going to say enough of that. I'm just going to cover this one up, get some fresh legs out there with 4:27 to go. So UMass Boston, with the victory today, will be 2-0. They'll be 1-0 in the New England Hockey Conference. And obviously a lot of conference games coming up. Nothing is decided in November, ever. Just ask last year's UMass Boston Beacons. They started out 6-0 and then all of a sudden ran into a bit of a wall in early 2016.
That's right, Codfish Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And then tripped down as Gannon, no call. As they started to fall in early 2017, but picked things up when it mattered behind Billy Faust, who was absolutely outstanding in the NEHC tournament. Colin Larkin with the game winner in the championship against Babson.
My old goaltending partners in the building, actually. I see him now. Billy Faust and Zach Andrews in street clothes, obviously, receiving their rings tonight. Nice to see them here.
Here's an opportunity for UMass Boston. Gobbled up there by Michael on the shot from Tim Murphy.
Murphy's best chance of the night. Got a good shot off. Almost got it past Michaels. Michaels able to get the shoulder up, make the save. Be interesting to see. I've got him close to 60 shots on goal, I think, tonight. Right, came into the third period with 41. Quite possible, quite possible Beacons put up another 20 on him. So my guess is probably going to finish around 60, 55, 60.
How'd you like to be a goalie the night before you're facing Peter Belisle's Beacons? You have to be having nightmares. You got to be wrapping yourself up in padding.
Tough.
I mean, you're going to take a beating.
Yeah, and if these goalies are doing their homework, they know that you're going to be facing a ton of rubber. It's no secret that UMass loves shooting the puck from really anywhere. Corsairs a little bit of a chance here.
That shot deflected. Great play by Chukrin.
He's so good on his angles. But, yeah, going into games like that, I remember, back playing is you come in with the mentality of, okay, I know I'm going to be busy. So I'm going to rely on my D. I'm going to make the saves that I need to make. Anything that I can track. I'm going to make the saves, rely on your D to clear the rebounds, clear out people that might be screening you. You need help in a game like that. It's very, very tough. We've seen goalies now come out with wins. It's not to say it can't be done, but definitely more difficult when you know it's going to be a tough task when you're facing 50, 60 in a night.
Here's an opportunity for the Beacons. Kuzin is on sides out there with number 13, Tyler Sifferlin, who's been really snake-bitten today. He's had some great scoring opportunities, just haven't been able to tickle the twine. Less than 3 minutes to go as this one trickles down off of Shea. Carter, no look behind the back feed, and a good poke check by Gallagher is able to get it to Sifferlin. And now here comes Carter. Defenseman all the way in, takes the shot, he scores! Brian Carter with a rare goal.
Wow.
Just his third career goal in 23 career games, and the Hudson, Massachusetts sophomore has made it 6-0 UMass Boston.
I don't know what happened to Michaels there. It was strange. I mean, he's played well tonight, and obviously one he'd want to have back. Carter, good rush. I mean, he had speed coming into the zone. It looked like he was a little bit challenged getting the shot off. Might have not gotten everything he wanted on it, but it seemed to fool Michaels somehow. He didn't get a good read on it one way or another, and ended up in the back of the net. He was sliding almost sideways. And here you have a 6-0 lead now for the Beacons.
Well, how often do you see that, Matt, where a goalie will save 40, 45 shots, will be fantastic, and then he'll let an easy one in?
Yeah.
Just loses focus or something.
It happens. I mean, you know, and the other thing is you face so many of them, right? It's bound to happen. You know, it's just a numbers game at that point. I mean, every goalie from the NHL on down gives up shaky goals every now and then, even the best. You know, Carey Price, Henrik Lundqvist, it happens. But just fools you. You know, if you lose your footing or you lose your tracking of the puck, they find holes, man.
120 seconds left, separating the Beacons, who are up by a touchdown from winning their first home game of the season, and trying to tack on that extra point was Zach Lindsay, as he had a chance from right in the slot, denied by Michael.
And there you see Michael's good. You know, good to see from the kid. Didn't linger on it too long. That was a good save he just had there. He had to approach that Lindsay in the slot with a quick release, was able to get the glove on it. Short memory for him, obviously, and being able to rebound quickly, come back, make another save.
Stay tuned after the game. We'll have an interview with Coach Peter Belisle as he reflects not only on this game, but on the team's postseason run from a year ago. Spinorama shot from Kuzin is off the mark. Rebound in front, and in the net mouth, Kuzin is able to regain possession somehow. Comes to the point. Mason's shot deflected high and wide. We'll also have an interview with the player of the game, and as we come to the final 90 seconds, Matt, are you any closer to naming your player of the game?
I'm going to keep it close to the vest. Definitely a few options for us here tonight. You know, some of the names we've mentioned, I think definitely Drew Gannon's in play. You know, I liked Larkin. Larkin had a good goal. We've got a couple freshmen in Caruso and Sifferlin, and these guys have played well. We'll see. We'll see. Obviously, yeah, we got a chance at the goaltender possibly. And
what, he faced 8 shots today?
Hey, listen, he stopped the ones he had to stop. So we'll see. Minute 21. We got a couple guys in the booth here casting votes. Looks like number 30's getting most of them, so we'll have to see.
We'll see if it's busted or not. Oh, and then a chance for an odd-man rush, but the ghosts of Edward T. Barry Ice Rink send the forward, that was Mike Kelly, tumbling to the ice. 60 seconds to go in this one. Here come the Beacons the other way. Well, when it's your night, it's your night. Mike Kelly had no one around him. He just goes down. Gannon looking to make it his night with the hat trick, and denied by Michael. He's had a couple of chances for it. Now here comes a man who's had chances as well, Tyler Sifferlin. He wants to get some more opportunities. Here is the defenseman, that's Regnart. That one is wide. Regnart is just getting pummeled in the corner.
This is out of control. No one's seeing it.
The ref's right there.
I don't know what's going on here. And, you know,
he's staring at him doing it. And now here we go. Because the refs couldn't control the game. Now Brian Carter's going to have to control it himself.
And how unselfish is Regnard? Easily could have taken some retaliatory penalty there and wouldn't have really faulted on him. He was getting manhandled there. Yes. Down. It was right below us.
6'2", 190 Mason Nichols.
Yeah, Mason Nichols was all over him. You know, and ref was looking at it. I don't think anyone on the Beacon saw it. Otherwise, we would have had a bigger scrum. But a credit, you know, clearly a selfless player in Regnard. You're kidding me. And now they're going to put him in the box too, huh?
I mean, what is he supposed to do? The referee's standing there staring at it, doing nothing. And Regnar's just defending himself, getting pummeled to the ice by Nichols.
That's mentally strong, and I know he got a penalty. I thought he, pretty strange that they're going to call both there, but mentally strong to take that and not obviously get yourself ejected, even though 6-0 late in the third, it wouldn't have really mattered anyway. But just good from a mental perspective. Coaches take note of that type of stuff, and here you have 4-on-4 here. We'll finish the game with 34 seconds left on the clock.
That we will. Beacons up 6-0, 34.4 to go. Beacons win the faceoff right in front. Caruso trying to get it around Michael with a nifty fake. Unfortunately for the Beacons forward, he couldn't tuck it home. This one right in the net mouth. No one saw it at first as it deflected off of Joe Eckelmeyer, and then it is sent, and it looked like it did go into the bench, at least partially, and with 18 seconds left, a whistle. So the Beacons will win this one. I'll hold off on saying the score yet for the sake of Mizey's sanity.
You're pretty safe. If it's gonna bug you, you can go ahead. If you want to drop one, you can.
I'm okay with waiting for the next 15 seconds.
All right.
UMass Boston leading 6-0 as UMass will do everything that they can to hold on to this shutout. 5 seconds to go.
There it is.
I just said it. As this one trickles around the end boards, that'll do it. UMass Boston defends their NEHC crown at least for a day as they win it 6-0 over the Dartmouth Corsairs. And Matt, from start to finish, Beacons really showed why they were considered the better team, why they've won 9 consecutive in this rivalry.
Yep.
It's now 10, and they are now on their way to 2-0.
This wasn't the type of game that we've seen in the past where the offense for the Beacons just takes over and they're scoring goals at will and really you just clear domination. This was a systematic approach to a win, and even though the scoreboard says a little differently, obviously 6-0, not even close, but it was a progressive win. Each period they got a little bit better, they got a little bit tighter. And we're able to score on the chances that they were generating. So, really, I think from a coaching and strategic standpoint, Coach Blisle, again, is probably going to have some areas he wants to take another look at, but has to be pretty pleased to walk out of the home opener with a 6-0 W.
So UMass Boston wins this one 6-0, and we talked about the offense. Jordan Bustard getting the start today for just his second time, and now we can finally say gets his first career shutout.
First collegiate shutout for the kid. It's a big moment. It's something that obviously goaltenders take a lot of pride in, and he'll get some extra taps in the locker room. I don't know if he's going to get the game puck, but I would say probably a pretty high chance we talk to Jordan tonight, and we'll have to discuss internally, but I definitely say he's close to the top.
Let's take a look at the third period highlights here on the post-game show as UMass Boston up 4-0 heading into this period, put 2 more on the board, beginning, first of all, with this great save by Michael.
You're going to see here, cut to the center, and this puck's going to, nice 2 moves, but that was Caruso, and fires a hard shot and a good stop there by Michaels as we continue with the highlights, and another save here by Michaels. This is the one in front. They were able to almost tuck that home. And then here you see, here's the goal. This is the breakaway goal by Caruso. Nice little move. He lowers it, makes that looks like a shot, and for a goaltender, it looks like it's going to be a quick release, and then pulls it to his backhand, is able to tuck it on the far side glove. Tricky little play. Nice move there by Caruso. Another save here by Michaels. He was active all night. We'll have to get the final shot total, and then here's Carter's goal late. You see, might have lost his footing. Still can't really understand how that puck fooled Michaels, the goaltender, but the game was pretty much over at that point. That was just some whipped cream on top of the sundae. But here you have the Beacons walking out of here, 6-0. A lot of people walking out with points, and a good win across the board.
It certainly was. We're going to go to a commercial break on the post-game show. When we come back, we'll have our interviews with Coach Peter Blisle and the player of the game. The final score, the number 3 ranked UMass Boston Beacons 6 and the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs 0.
I'm Alexa Capion. I'm from Messina, New York. I'm a junior on the women's ice hockey team, and I'm an exercise health science major. But when I got here, I met Coach Harris, and I saw the facility, and I met a couple of the girls on the team, and I pretty much got a feel of the program, and I knew right away that this is where I wanted to go to school. We have all league games for the rest of the year, so that's going to be a huge test for us. We need those points to hopefully come out with a good standing for playoffs. A couple of highlights from the last couple of years I've been playing was probably last year when we won our first Codfish Bowl. We made history that year. It was really exciting to be part of that. I don't have very many goals, but when I do score, it's definitely a big deal.
That's a goal!
For the past 3 years, we've had Emily. She is a member of the Team Impact program, and that's for children with illnesses that want to be part of a collegiate program. She's great. She comes and watches all of our games. She has her own jersey. She has her own stick. We've got her all this equipment. It's really awesome to have. She gives us a lot of motivation, and she comes in the locker room and talks to us before games, and it's really cool to have her here and be part of our team. When I graduate, I definitely want to go to graduate school, most likely for either athletic training or physical therapy. Our trainers here have definitely given me an insight about what it takes to be an athletic trainer. They're always on top of everything. They always know how to help us and what to do and what not to do. They're always there for us when we need them, and that's given me a lot of help with what I could be doing after I graduate, so that's nice to have them.
My name is Kirsten Morrison, aka Keek. I'm a senior here at UMass. I'm in the Exercise Health Sciences program, and I play volleyball, basketball, and softball. You know, I came here for volleyball, and I chose between basketball and softball, and I went with basketball my freshman year to play, and it's always kind of been a thing that I wanted to do is play softball my senior year. And after talking with Coach Degg, she was like, yeah, come on the team, and I was like, all right, and here I am playing 3 sports this year. Being a beacon, I don't even know if words can describe. You know, coming here as a freshman, I was a little nervous and scared. But, you know, I walked in these doors and they all had open arms. You know, they showed me the ropes. You know, the coaching staff, the athletic staff, the chancellor, the vice chancellors, everyone here is so welcoming, and I really can't stress enough about how much this is really a second family for me here at UMass. I got my 1,000 points this year. It's amazing. I don't even think words can describe how I feel about it. It's something I've always wanted to do my whole life, and doing it here with my teammates and the coaching staff here is just an unbelievable experience, and I'm so happy to be able to do that. I'm doing my internship this summer at the Quincy YMCA, and I really hope to be coaching in my future.
Pitch swung on and missed.
Kyle Strowski from Agawam, Massachusetts. I'm a senior here at UMass Boston. I'm a marketing major. Probably have to say my favorite moment was my no-hitter my freshman year. Being a freshman, especially just making a statement right away. Seeing the reactions on the seniors' faces, it was something that was a lot of fun to be a part of. If you want to play and you want to compete for championship every year, definitely UMass Boston is a good place to come look at.
And now, this one's launched, right center field. That's going to win the game for the Beacons. It is down.
LEC is probably best division in college D3 baseball in the country. Play against the top competition every year. I think we have a top 10 schedule in the country this year. So we're young, but we also mix in with a good group of junior college transfers. Being on the baseball team here at UMass is a good experience, great experience. Only about 2% of people can play college baseball, and one that I'll take for me for the rest of my life.
Kyle Fields fires the first, great scoop from Jason Cholet.
I'm Elizabeth Clavin, sophomore business management major from Edina, Minnesota. I love being a part of this volleyball team. Volleyball is what brought me to UMass Boston. I looked at our recruiting website one last time and saw UMass Boston on it, came out for a visit the next week, and it kind of hit all the boxes that I was looking for. In a good city, good academic school, good volleyball program. It had everything I wanted. Although it was far away from home, I knew this is where I wanted to be. Winning 6 back-to-back LEC titles is really a dynasty, I think, and Terry has really focused hard on recruiting and building this dynasty and continuing to build a program that can continue to win championships, and it's really lucky to be a part of something that's great. Last year I was the Little East Conference Defensive Player of the Year, All-Conference second team, NCAA Regional MVP of the regional tournament, ABC All-Region Honorable Mention, and New England Women's Volleyball Association All-Rookie Team and Honorable Mention. I think my favorite game would have to be playing in the regional championship. last year. We played against a really good Williams team, and I think that match, we started off a little shaky and lost the first set. We've lost in the whole playoff season, and I think that kind of shook us a little bit. We came back firing, and we're ready to go this next couple games. Our coaches are bringing in a lot of really strong girls who want to make a commitment and make an impact in this program, and I think that is why we're continuing to do well, and we'll continue to do well for the next few years. Being a student here has been really awesome as well. I've recently started taking more of my business classes and found that's a good choice and a good fit for me. And eventually, I hope to open my own business and kind of be successful and do what I love at the end of the day.
John Scooter's back in the broadcasting booth. We'll have Peter Belisle and I believe Jordan Bustard for you in a few moments' time. But first, let's take a look at the final team statistics for these two clubs. The final score, UMass Boston 6, UMass Dartmouth nothing. The Beacons outshot the Corsairs by 40, 57-17, 51 saves by the netminder for UMass Dartmouth, Drew Michael. He deserves a star all to himself after taking that pummeling, or at least maybe some ice after the game. The Beacons dominated not only in the shots and the goals, but also in face-offs, 44-28, and they also were able to notch a couple of power play goals. Let's look at our three stars of the game as we await the interviewees to come on out. Jordan Bustard, our first star, the first collegiate shutout, 17 shots, 17 saves. Drew Gannon tallied 2 goals, almost got a third and a fourth later on in the game. And Colin Larkin, who started off all the scoring with a power play goal. He is your third star of the game. A scoring recap, 4:25 into the first. Larkin from Daly and Caruso, a power play goal. At the 15-minute mark, Gannon's even strength goal, his first of the year, came from the freshman Tyler Sifferlin. In the second period, Drew Gannon's second of the game on the power play came from Mason and Sifferlin. And then wrapping it up in the second period, Dakota Keene's first goal, an even strength tally from Daniel Nachbar. And in the third, at 11:12, Derek Caruso, a shorthanded breakaway blast from Bishop and Murphy. And Brian Carter wrapped up all the scoring, his first of the year at 17:19 of the third. Made it 6-0, your final score. We're going to go to one more break. When we come back, we'll have the star of the game, Jordan Bustard, as well as Coach Peter Belisle. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Beacons on the track! Beacons on the track!
My name is Tyler Hart.
Beacons on the track!
Being on the track and field team here is the greatest decisions I've made besides coming to UMass Boston. When you train together in that sort of intensity, you build a sort of a bond with people who are training with you. You know, it's like on a higher level of friendship. It's like teammates, it's just a different level. My freshman year, I got a Rookie Athlete of the Year. Outdoor for my sophomore year, I was the first time I went to nationals. When I jump, it's a little difficult considering I have hereditary disorder known as amblyopia.
There we go.
It's pretty much just a partial blindness in the left eye. The best way to describe it is if you have decent prescriptions for contact lenses. You take one of the lenses out, and then you put your hand over the eye with that lens. That's my vision. I rely more on my steps as opposed to my visual perception of how far away the bar is. And since I can't see out of my left eye, I have to sit on the far left-hand side of the class. Hopefully coach for a few years, coach some high school kids, maybe even coach on a college level as like an assistant coach, and go to PA school, and then do a 5-year program and try to get my loans paid back, and then go from there.
Well, folks, I know I told you earlier in the broadcast that was the only lie I would tell. We will not be having any interviews. The players are going to be celebrating here post-game with the alums that came back. I understand that. Why not? Yeah. So, we're going to wrap things up with a nice bow and send you off with a present that is a 6-0 victory over the Dartmouth Corsairs. And Mizey, to wrap it up here, 57-17 in shots on goal. Yeah. The Beacons win it 6-0. An incredible performance. And for Drew Michael, he stops 51 shots and loses. That's tough.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at the shot count, and it seems like the Beacons were playing NHL 17 on all rookie mode, because putting up 57 is insane. And even against the team, you look at the 21-8, 20-6, 16-3. So shot total, that's a significant stat there. I think the other thing, you look at the players who scored or generated a point, various names. I want to give an extra special shout out to Dakota Keene and to Derek Caruso, first collegiate goal, which is a big deal. Obviously, they're going to get a game puck tonight. And also Jordan Bustard, first collegiate shutout and only his second game, which may or may not be a record. We'll have to look at that as well. But credit to those 3 freshmen, and obviously we would love to have them on the postgame, but probably in there celebrating with the alumni from last year.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at what lies ahead for UMass Boston as they take on a very game Castleton University squad beginning at 7 p.m. next week. We'll be here for the coverage, and then the following weekend, matchups against Daniel Webster and the University of Southern Maine. Before we do say goodbye and thank our crew, which is up on your screen, Seth Orensky, our producer, our directors Anthony Searles and Alex Carasoto. On instant replay, Josh Ruffin did a fantastic job today. Our camera operators, Steve Consiglio, Luke Nagel, Gia Ratzkowski, and Roxanne Vento. And, of course, the man to my right, my partner in crime, here for hockey all season long, Matt Meisenbacher. Mizey, before we say goodbye, let's wrap it up with the bow. The Beacons don't play again until next week.
Yep.
But after seeing them live for the first time, how confident are you in their ability to get back to the NEHC title?
John, you said it earlier tonight. You know, you can't win a championship in November. But I think the one standout, the one positive was I was very impressed with the system. We did not see a lot of people who were out of place. They executed extremely well in terms of the system that Coach Blau runs. Now, the passing, I think, can improve. I think there were times the power play, there's a little bit left to be determined there. There's some other areas that are going to have to improve as the season goes along, and Coach Blau knows exactly how to pinpoint those weaknesses. But I think the overall theme was, especially for the home opener, was a systematic approach to this win. It wasn't reliance on some of the big names like Larkin and like Daly to get the job done. It was across the board, played extremely well in the defensive zone, and walked out of here with a 6-0 win.
They certainly did. They'll be back at it next week. Folks, stay tuned. In about half an hour's time or so, we will have the men's soccer team taking on Rhode Island College right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, as the Beacons will try to win their second Little East Conference championship of the day, with the women's volleyball team winning earlier. The final score again for Matt Meisenbacher, 6-0. The Beacons triumph over their rivals from Dartmouth. Until next time, I'm John Skudris. Good night, good luck, and good hockey. Take care from the Beacons Broadcasting Network.